Howdy, howdy, howdy. What's going on, adventurers? Welcome to another one of our non-slant alpha adventures. Glad to have you here, guys. We are in the working title mod of the Citation CJ4 for Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. We are at Bedford Hanscom Airport. Hanscom, Bedford, Hanscom. Undone says there's no sound. On my end, the VU meters are banging off the tops like they should be. I don't know if you want to just refresh your page there, Undone, or check on that on your end. Everything on my end appears to be normal, so hopefully something that's easily resolved by a refresh or close and reopen the app or whatever. But fingers crossed. Anyone else that's on the channel, let me know if you got sound. Everything, like I said, appears to be normal from my end. Anyway, we're at Hanscom, Bedford. We're up here in the Boston Virtual ARTCC area. And getting ready to do 2 more of these IFR training flights that they call the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England series. Hang on one second. Nobody has popped in and said anything. Now you got me really curious. I pull it up on my phone. Hold on one second. You got me curious, guys. Hopefully you all are hearing me. Okay. Let's go to my channel. Pull up the, yeah, I'm hearing myself. Okay. I think it's fine. But we'll continue on. Sorry about the interruption. Yes, area sense sounds good here. Okay. Yeah, everything looks normal on my end. So Undone. Hopefully, it's solved by a quick refresh. All right. Anyway, back to what I was talking about. Resuming the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England flights. This is a series of 6 VFR and 24 IFR flights that they offer on their website as kind of a training resource. And if you perform them while their air traffic controllers are online, and which air traffic controllers you need depends on the specific flight. Some of them you need center, some of them you only need one of the local regional approaches. But depending on what controllers are on, they will evaluate your flight based on what they see on the scope. They're not looking in the cockpit, but they are looking into their scope to see if you're adhering to the procedures as far as where you're supposed to be, how high you're supposed to be, all that stuff. And we have done VFR 1 through 6, and we've done IFR 1 through 13. We're resuming with number 14 here. And starting with number 14, these are more geared toward RNAV type stuff, jet type stuff. There's some interesting language, and I'll show you here in just a moment. Let's go into the wings and the flights, and I think if you want to look at the details of the flights, you do have to be signed into this website. You'd have to have a VATSIM account, but then you can sign into this website with your VATSIM credentials. We're doing IFR number 14, and this is an introduction to RNAV and the FMC. Okay, so we're getting into a series of these flights that are more geared toward, jet and RNAV arrivals. So this is going to be, we most recently on stream flew the 757. And so this is going to be 2 non-slant alpha streams in a row. So my apologies for the major deviation from the channel theme of slant alpha navigation, which by the way, if you don't know, means navigating through just radial tracking on old school radio-based navigation, NDBs, VORs, and that sort of thing. So 2 in a row that we're doing with just like a modern FMC, flight management computer, and RNAV capability, meaning the capability to navigate directly to any point on Earth. Without the use of a ground-based radio station to find it. So, they have some interesting language in here. I'll show you. Yet each of the remaining flights is geared toward RNAV-capable aircraft. However, the program is and always has been available to pilots who prefer to fly slant alpha equipment using only traditional navigation. Now, it almost sounds like this is written specifically for me. It's not written specifically for me. I just happen to be one of the few pilots on the network that that does prefer to navigate by slant alpha means, even when modern RNAV-based means are available. But this is not specifically written for me. I'm not the only one, I promise. So we can, in theory, we can do these remaining lessons traditional to the slant alpha methodology of doing things. However, my purpose in performing these flights on stream is to demonstrate them to other pilots who wish to do them. So for that reason, instead of doing this in a way that is more difficult, more archaic, less common, I'm going to go ahead and do these RNAV-based flights with RNAV capability. So that's what got us here today. Iowa Scotsman's checking in. Undone says the sound issues are all better now. James Martin's M is here. He's got a B-56 bust down at DCA Tower. Awesome, man. Yeah, you're bound to every time. We're going to keep the chat on topic though, if we can for today. But this is a pretty serious chapter of stuff. So the way the Wings Over New England flights work, guys, is for each flight they provide you on this website a pretty comprehensive guide to what it is that you're going to need to do in order to pass. Okay, and like I said, the controllers are going to evaluate pass-fail based on what they see on the radar scope. If you're hitting the right or wrong button, they don't necessarily know, but if you're in the right or wrong place, or at the right or wrong altitude, or at the right or wrong speed, that they do know. So the very first part of what they do is they talk about what RNAV capability is, and they talk about the difference between the conventional nav airways that you can track through VOR radials versus the blue, the RNAV airways, which you cannot track through conventional VOR tracking. Even traditional Victor and Jet airways can be defined by a series of fixes along the airway. So instead of flying radials, you can follow the fixes that your FMC, your GPS, or inertial nav system will track. Just kind of goes in through how the RNAV capability works in different sims. It kind of goes through the concept of keeping your RNAV database up to date, which Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 theoretically automatically does. It says we're going to go low altitude airways at an altitude no greater than 16,000. You'll program the route into the FMC and fly it using RNAV procedures. James says, are they getting rid of VORs in the real world? Slowly but surely they are, man. They decommission another couple dozen every year, it seems like. So they're slowly but surely dying away. I think that ILSs will remain in place for at least a little while because they offer a greater precision of guidance than RNAV capability does, at least for right now. And then they're a good backup if the GPS satellite system becomes compromised somehow, like some major solar flare happens and satellite signals are unreachable for a day or something like that. So I have a feeling ILSs are still going to be around for a while. But yeah, it's true. VORs are slowly but surely being replaced by RNAV fixes. It's definitely true. And NDB approaches are already becoming really, really hard to find. Anyway, back to what we were talking about. Talking about programming the route into the FMC. Obviously, you have to file it on VATSIM, and that sends it to the air traffic controller, but it doesn't automatically populate into your plane. We're going to show you how to manually punch it into the plane. There's ways you can create it on SimBrief and then automatically import it, blah, blah, blah. I'm going to do it just the old school pilot way. We're going to punch it into the FMC just using the buttons right on the MCDU unit here. Lateral navigation, the difference between LNAV and VNAV. Lateral navigation means navigating left and right turns along your route. Vertical navigation, VNAV, means the ability to plot and even to fly automatically in some cases a vertical path that means it will automatically calculate an optimal top of descent point. Now, you may or may not be allowed to start your descent at the optimal top of descent point. The controllers might need you to start down sooner, or they might need you to stay at your altitude. VNAV just calculates, LNAV and VNAV, the route you file and the vertical path that you create may or may not be what you end up being cleared on. They're your optimal path, but they're not necessarily going to be your path. That's your plan. Your plan can change. Anyway, we'll talk more about that later too. When we get up to Burlington, we are going to be doing an RNAV approach. Burlington does have ILS approaches as well, but for the purposes of today's lesson, this particular flight is demonstrating not only RNAV routing, but RNAV approaches. So we will show you those when we get there. ATC is going to clear you direct to an initial fix and then just to commence the approach on our own with a crossing restriction. And you can use VNAV if your plane's capable, or just old-fashioned estimation in order to comply with that crossing restriction. Again, we'll talk about it when we get there, and the working title mod for the CJ4 does it pretty well. So, not too shabby. It's a good plane to use for these flights. Now, I will say, I haven't flown this plane. In our most recent stream, I flew the Boeing 757, and I said at the outset of the stream, hey, give me some slack here. I haven't flown it in 3 months. Well, guess what plane I also haven't flown in 3 months? Ta-da! Anyway, could be an interesting one, guys. Now, they're talking about the different minimums here. LPV is lateral with vertical, I forget what it's called. I think it's just probably says down here. An LNAV approach without vertical guidance is a non-precision approach. Okay, so that's this bottom one here. 680 is the minimum for if you're just LNAV and you're getting all your guidance, vertical guidance off the chart. LNAV and VNAV means you have LNAV based from your route, your programmed route, but VNAV is a calculated path by your FMC, which we do have. LPV is like that plus, okay? I forget what it stands for specifically, but it might say down here. Localizer performance with vertical guidance. That's what LPV is, okay. Only available to nav systems with special accuracy boosting equipment. And the WAAS is like wide area something service or something like that. Wide area approach service or something like that. I can't remember exactly what it stands for. But it basically allows for the level of accuracy that you would have with an ILS approach using this system that doesn't use any ground-based navigation aids. So LPV approaches are displayed in exactly the same manner as an ILS approach in the cockpit. I cannot remember, for purposes of this flight, whether the working title CJ4 qualifies as an LPV or whether it's an LNAV and VNAV. I think it is LPV. I can't say that for sure. We're going to end up using just the LNAV VNAV minimums, just because I'm not 100% certain whether the CJ4 falls into that LPV category. Yeah, Red Warhawk was hitting that definition for us. Yeah, I figured it was probably covered in this material if we scrolled down just a little bit, but thank you for that. We are talking about, again, which approach to request at Burlington. If we have 1-5, there's only one RNAV approach. If we have 3-3, there's an RNAV Yankee and an RNAV Zulu. The RNAV Yankee and RNAV Zulu, I will show you when we get there, but this lesson material gives you some, like a brief summary. If you're LNAV only, the Yankee gives you lower minimums because the Yankee follows an offset path that runs through a valley between some mountain ridges. And there's some step-down fixes that allow you to descend safely as you go along. Or if you're LPV, the RNAV-Z offers the lowest minimums because you can fly directly over that mountain ridge with high enough accuracy to still be considered safe. So when we get up there, we'll choose based on based on that, and I'll show you the difference between the two. If we end up on runway 33, don't know if that means, don't know if we're going to be on 33 or 15 when we get up there. All right. Anyway, this is talking about one cold weather consideration. Yeah. So if there is cold weather, you do have to adjust your minimums. So that doesn't apply to us today here in August. But just another thing to note, something that they haven't discussed. All right, we're going to go ahead. We've spawned on the ground at Bedford. We're going to file a route to BTV. Now, Boston has, if we go to pilots and pilot references, open that in a new tab. They have their own version of the preferred route database. Guess it helps if I spell it right.
Thanks for coming in today.
So Bedford to BTV. That sounds like it must be Jet Pilot Cinnamon. Jet Pilot Cinnamon, how are you, man? Okay, so Bedford to BTV does not have a preferred route in the database, so we have to kind of come up with one on our own. And I've intentionally not put it in here, by the way. By the way, we often talk about how Microsoft Flight Sim Weather is
Mike. What day is it, Mike?
not too accurate, but in this case, yeah, I think we got some pretty rough weather being represented faithfully here. So that's going to make the flight even more interesting. Jet Pilot Cinnamon says, thanks for coming in today. That's a 14-month resubscription. Thank you so much for your continued support of the channel. Appreciate you being here. Hope that your commute home is going okay. I know you're going to a club event going on tomorrow that we're keeping our fingers crossed is going to stay on schedule. All right. Now, let's go ahead and figure out what we're going to be doing here. We don't have a preferred route in the database airport diagram, so we know that we're probably going to be flying this Hanscom 3 departure as a generic vector departure out of this airport, Hanscom, Bedford. And so we're looking for something that gets us going kind of north and west toward our destination. I'm going to get the weather stuff out of the way for right now. We know the weather is not good. I'm going to go ahead and shut that off just so we can kind of see what we're doing from a routing standpoint. So what are we doing? And I guess we're going to use low altitude because we're going to be at 18,000 or below. So we've got some routing options here. I think what we would probably do is, well, let's see what departure gates do we have. Revs is to the west. Highland is kind of to the north. Let's see where that is. And then Cambridge is out here to the north and west. So let's see where these are. So Revs is... yeah, okay, so Revs is this one here. REV-SS is that one. And then where was the other one? Highland? Okay, that's up here. So Highland would kind of put us near this T316. And what was the other one we could use? We could go out to Cambridge VOR. So Cambridge VOR is like way out here. Is it this one? Albany there? Yeah, Cambridge VOR is like way out here. I don't think we want to go that far out of our way. Oh, JPC is home safe and sound. All right. Entertaining crew on the Delta A220 ride and jump seat. Awesome, man. Awesome. Glad you're home. So I think the point that makes the most sense is probably Revs, REVSS. Let's punch that in. Okay, where would we go from there? Obviously, it looks like if we can go Revs, then maybe direct to Gardner and then pick up this blue line up here that goes up this way. And I think we'll just take that straight into Burlington VOR. Are there any arrival procedures, any stars into Burlington? No? Okay, there's just the RNAV approaches. So I guess that would be GDM. And then what we say, it was 315 to BTV. All right, so Revs and then Gardner T, 315 BTV. All right, I think that's going to work. That's not too bad. 167.3 miles. Okay. All right, let's go ahead and get that filed then. And let's see if we can get going. Over here into vPilot. Go ahead and pop in the flight plan. We're going to be IFR. We're going to be here at Bedford. We're going to BTV. I checked ahead of time just to see what a good alternate would be, and I found KMSS way up in the northwest, non-controlled tower, non-controlled airfield. We're going to try and depart at 20:15 Eastern Time, which is, what is that, 00:15 Zulu time. Flight time, 32 minutes with 308 on board. Cruise speed in this plane's 450, but I think probably at 16,000 we'll probably do more like 350, I would guess. I don't know. I'm really just kind of fudging that. Cruise altitude, yeah, 16,000 we said was the max, because that's what the lesson said. We are going to punch the same route in here. It's the Hanscom 3 HNSCM3. Is that the right spelling? HNSCM3. Okay, good. HNSCM. M as in Mike. Mike. HNSCM to Revs, REVSS. And then it was Gardner, and it was T315, I think it was. T315 to BTV, okay. And then we're going to put in the remarks down here, wings, IFR-14. And then the stream link there, okay. All right, let's get that filed. Good luck on the wing, says Chris. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, let's get back into the... I swear to you, there is a control tower back there somewhere. Okay, there it is. Now it's barely coming into view there. Yeah, this is going to be an interesting one weather-wise, guys. All right, let's go. Let's get the battery switch on. Let's see, the emergency lights can be armed. That's there, and the avionics into dispatch. And the standby flight display can be turned on. Let's get the nav, and yep, we'll shut those up. Okay, let's get the nav and logo lights on. We'll initialize our position. We'll just pop the GPS point down into the current point. COM 1 mic switch and volume can be turned on. Okay, that is on. And everything else there can be turned off, I think. Ooh, we actually can spin that independently. Interesting. Okay, that's new. That's new. So I'm going to manually crank those all the way down. Like it used to be, you click on them once and they would just kind of turn themselves off. Whoops. That one still turns its... That one's still either on or off. The rest of them there, you can kind of manipulate them independently. Let me just check and make sure. Yeah, transmitting and receiving on COM 1 in vPilot as well. So, all right, very good. We filed our flight plan. Let's go ahead and check. Do we have an ATIS running here? We got an ATIS Boston, but not at Bedford. KBED. We know that the answer is the weather's not good. 050 at 8, so a very slight northeasterly wind. 3 statute miles, rain and mist. Scatter clouds at 1,000, broken at 3,000. 29er 80. Okay. Alright, let's get our COM 1 set. Who are we talking to? Is it just Boston Center? Yeah, it don't look like there's any local controllers in the area, so it's 134.7. So we'll go to the tune page. Man, it's going to be another night where I just kind of fumble through the checklist.
What I'm missing here. Okay, you're over there at Manchester.
134.7.
Back your discretion and let me know when you are ready to
we'll
take
obtain our clicks.
Push at discretion or advisory taxi, Delta 431.
Runway 238, radar contact at 3,500. Climb and maintain 14,000.
And we expect that the departure runway here would be runway 5 since...
Number 74 Hotel, turn right heading 180.
180, sir, 4 Hotel.
Wind was, what was it? 0508, so runway 5 would be kind of a logical choice. And we know that the departure frequency is going to be 34.7, so we got everything we need. And by the way, we know in our Hanscom departure that the initial altitude is 2,000. And we know from the continuation page that we're expecting our filed cruise 10 minutes after departure, so we can kind of fill in a lot of this stuff ahead of time.
Runway 238.
So that helps us.
Manch.
Let's go ahead and see if we can get a word in.
I'd like to Manch 238.
Boston Center, Citation 514 Delta Victor's on the ground at Bedford. We got the weather. IFR to Burlington, wings IFR 14.
Evening, Rob. How you doing?
Hey, Evan.
Number 514 Delta Victor, Boston Center, cleared to the correction, to the Burlington Airport. The Hanscom 3 departure. Radar vectors or revs then as filed. Maintain 2000. Departure on this frequency. Squawk 4740. Wings IFR 14 approved.
All right, clear to Burlington. Hanscom 3 departure. Radar vectors revs then as filed. Maintain 2000. 134.7 at 4740. 514 Delta Victor.
Number 4 Delta Victor, back is correct. And bias ready to taxi the Hanscom altimeter 2980. And you can let me know what you'd like for departure on maybe runway 11 or whatever works for you.
All right, 2980. I think we'll be looking for runway 5, and we'll give you a call in a few. 514 Delta Victor.
Number 4 Delta Victor, expect runway 5.
All right.
Delta 1157, radar contact at 3000, climb and maintain
Got a clearance.
14,000.
Now let's
Climb and maintain 14,000, Delta 1157.
Let's go ahead and get the route entered into the flight plan page. Oh, we can set that that squawk that it gave us.
Aircraft calling Boston Center. It's about 2 by 5. It's a little weak and scratchy, but it could just be a function of your location.
Pop that in there. We don't need to turn the transponder on yet. We don't have power to the plane. But let's go ahead and get the flight plan. We're at K.
Femway 3, correction, Femway 238.
Bed, and we're on to K.
Clear direct Syracuse Airport.
BTV.
Level 280 up to 280 direct to Syracuse for Femway 238, thanks.
Departure is going to be the Hanscom 3.
No significant changes.
To revs. Off of runway 5.
Number 74 Hotel, turn right heading 290. We'll get you back onto localizer here in a second.
And then we are going to go from revs to GDM. Let's go back to the flight plan.
Number 74 Hotel, affirmative.
Next.
Turn right heading 290, descend to maintain 2000.
Okay, Hanscom to revs. And then the next thing we're going to do is just direct Gardner, GDM.
Delta 327, contact New York Center 125.32.
And then we're going to be on the
Over to New York,
E315.
Delta 327. See ya, have a good night.
See you too. Delta 4211, contact Moncton Center 132.2.
Gonna think about that for a minute. There we go.
32.2,
then
have a great
the
evening. We'll see you next time. Take care,
DTV
4211.
VOR. There. Execute that.
Delta
And
1157, climb and
We'll
maintain
go to our
level
performance
320.
initialization.
Climb and level 320.
Cruise altitude is just going to be 16,000. Pop that in there. We know we loaded right up under the max gross of 17,000. I don't even have enough patience to enter the routes manually, says Chris. Yeah, that's the way I prefer to do it. That way I know what's in there for sure. It doesn't really matter what the numbers you put in here are exactly. It just matters that you end up with the same thing that you loaded, total-wise. So we loaded right up under 17,000 pounds. So let's just make sure that whatever we add up adds to 17,000. So we're at 14.8. So I'm going to add 2,200 of cargo. And that puts us right up there at 17,000. That's close enough. Takeoff performance. The outside air temperature we can just read off of the SAT. Static air temperature 22. Punch that in there. Since it's the rest of these are dashes, the boxes are mandatory. Everything else is dashes. That's
scattered along the route of flight. If you need any deviations, advise.
Is not mandatory. It's optional. So we'll just punch the OAT in there and wait next. Yeah, flaps 15 is normal, so that's what we're going to go with. The weights look good, and we see the V1-107, VR-108, V2-119, and VT-140. We're going to go ahead and hit send.
Yeah, that would be good.
And that'll send those over to the primary flight display.
Direct crank.
Direct crank, American 2054.
All right, let's get some power into the plane, guys.
Hotel, wind 160
Before we kill the battery, let's get the beacon light on.
Update on the weather here for you, actually.
And let's hit the engine tune starter.
Now 1708, visibility 6 miles missed.
And we can just pop that in the run. We don't need to wait for any specific thing. It's just pop that in the run, and when it gets to 12, it's going to automatically hit the ignition right here. Yep, there we go. So once that stabilizes, a little above 50.
Victor, Boston Center, good evening. The Long Island altimeter 2.
We have another Delta Victor on the channel. We'll have to listen out for that.
Dallas 1792, clear direct Pro V.
Okay. Should be pretty close to... Yep, starter just kicked off.
1792,
And the engine should be kind of stabilizing at around 25 and just over 50, so we're good. Go ahead and get the climate control on.
Precipitation scattered on your route of flight. If you need any deviations, advise.
And now we can turn the avionics into fully on mode. There we go.
Toggle 778, Boston Center.
The altimeter was 2080, I think he said. 2980 rather. 2080. 2980.
And what's the spelling of Pro-V Delta?
Papa Romeo Oscar Victor India.
So there's 2980 there, and then we'll set it over here. 2980 in the backup.
It should find it on the Robux 3 arrival, but let me know if you don't have it.
Good. Origin ground elevation is 132 feet. And yep, that's almost dead center to what we're showing, so that's good. Now we can go to that FMC page. Yeah, there is another something Delta Victor on the channel. We'll have to listen out for that. All right, so the squawk we put in, we'll go ahead and put it into TAR right now. I'll go into
TBM 7 Delta Victor, affirmative, cross Blatt at
TBM 7 Delta Victor. We'll have to listen out.
2976.
Into plan mode, but we're going to turn the terrain and weather off for now. Yeah, okay, there we go. Let's set the map range. Okay, yeah, so there we are. So vectored off the runway, but then we're going to be vectored out to that point revs, and we're not going to undo that discontinuity because we don't know how we're getting to revs. We're going to be radar vectored to that. We don't want the plane to automatically turn that way because that's not what we're going to be cleared to do. But we can
on this frequency, squawk 4701.
Turn the map range out a little bit, and then let's go to. Where is it? MFD. Where's it? MFD Advance? Yeah. And we'll just keep hitting next waypoints.
Feedback is correct.
And step through.
Providence, 2979.
And all that looks good. So that's all correct, and we'll leave it as is. Okay.
American 8550 heavy cross.
Let's see, I like to put this one in present position mode. Okay, that's kind of the same thing, except it's north up. I mean, it's track up, rather.
Roger that, cross Koshi at 6,000 for American 8550.
American 8550, clear ILS.
Initial altitude on our departure is 2,000, so we'll run that up to 2,000. That's going to come quick, so we'll have to be ready for that.
American 8550 heavy, cleared ILS runway 4 right approach.
And then the initial heading off of the Hanscom. Does it just say runway heading?
American 2054, cross crank.
Heading as assigned. We're going to assume runway heading until we're told something different.
2981.
Runway heading on runway 5 is 051 and a half, so really 052. So we'll go ahead and set that as our initial heading,
8550 heavy radio check.
unless we're given something else by the controller.
American 8550, Boston
052
American 8550
there.
How do you read?
I read you loud and clear. I had issue with my mic, but I read you loud and clear. American 8550.
American 8550.
All right, let's get the safety lights on.
Clear ILS runway 4 right approach, and I did repeat back
Seatbelt lights on.
clear for the approach.
Start up the number 2.
When I hit Gucci for American
Climate control is going to be off, and we'll hit the engine number 1 starter.
1792 descend via the Roblox 3 arrival, runway
And
4
we'll pop that into run.
2982.
Descend via Roebuck.
And we'll watch the number 1 spool up. Just make sure that the ignition automatically fires at 12. It does.
Roger, 4 right.
We said we're going to be airborne at 8:15, and we're going to be a couple minutes after that. That's no problem.
Turn right on
Not in a hurry tonight.
And taxi to the right.
How do we program a barrel roll into the flight computer, Dr. Wigglespank? Well, there's some custom waypoints we can put in there. Captain Scientist checked in. Big Brian is here as well. Check out the big brain on Big Brian. Right, so there we go. So now that the starter kicked off and the other warnings kicked off, the status automatically popped up there. Engines are nice and stable. All right. So warning panel has been checked. Climate control can come back into normal.
Cleared ILS, runway 4 right approach.
The flight controls can be checked. Now, if I hit the system button here twice, where's system? Oh, yeah, here it is. And set that twice. Now, these little gauges, these little indicators, I don't think, last I checked, they didn't work, and they still don't work, but we're going to just imagine. Use your imagination and imagine those little arrows are moving back and forth. Okay, so they're all good. I'm sure that at one point eventually they will. Next thing we're going to do is put the flaps into 15. Look for that. Make sure that that's done. Trim for takeoff. We want it in the bottom of that green range there. Whoops, it kind of was where it needed to be, so we'll leave it there. Okay, good.
446. Push back. Your discretion.
Going to go ahead and start the passenger briefing because it is kind of long, so we're going to get it started now. And that is the, where's that menu?
I'm showing you at level 344. You want to just double check
passenger briefing.
29902. I know there's been a few sim-related issues on altitude, so it could just be that, but if you wouldn't mind.
Got the follow there from Pentagon. Thank you, Pentagon, for being with us today. All right, let's look at the routing.
Good. Hey, quick go, Drix.
We got to go north. And then it looks like Sierra and Mike to runway 5. So let's figure out which way north is. Looks like it's to our left. Okay, well, we'll figure it out. I guess I got to go around to my right to go north. Okay, so we'll do a right 270 to go, or no, we're facing west. North is to our right, duh. Alright, north is that way, guys.
232 Boston Center, good evening.
Alright, and I am going to get, I think, some. Yeah. There we go. Alright, we're ready. Let's go ahead and give him a shout, let him know we're ready to go.
28 is closed there at Syracuse, so you can, if you want, go direct to
Let's get the
Royal or G-Town.
P-tone static and taxi lights on, parking brake off.
To get a bit closer to it.
Adjust the pilot seat so he can reach the pedals.
Runway 238 approved as requested, and then you can expect the vector for a straight in approach.
Away we go.
230.
And Center 514 Delta Victor at Hanscom's ready to taxi.
November 4 Delta Victor, runway 5, taxi via Sierra Mike.
All right, Sierra Mike to runway 5 for another Victor. All right, so north until we hit Sierra, and then south and west on Sierra.
Lufthansa for Christian Lufthansa 778.
So that looks like it's
3 arrival, runway
might be
4
the
right, Boston
Juliet
7,
going off to the
29
north and
18.
east.
Burlington 3 arrival for right, 73.
Boston Center, American 2054 requesting descent via the shaft, 7 arrival.
American 2054, yeah, I needed a clearance to cross crank at 7,000, so that allows you to start your descent anytime as long as you meet that restriction, and then you're just going to maintain 7,000 until the next controller gets you lower.
Okay, so I think this taxiway that we're joining to our right is Sierra, it looks like. Yeah, we're in the Henry leftovers, that's for sure, absolutely.
West 1121.
The Henri, I suppose, is the way to say it. And it sure was an Henri storm. Now, I'll tell you what, down here in Baltimore, where I am
1121, push back.
IRL,
Your discretion, reference traffic just off to your right, also pushing off the gate.
we had a really nice weather day after it passed. Henri. Ornery. Rambunctious.
KLM 446, runway 23, taxi
Irritable.
via Tango, November, Mike,
Henri.
Alpha, cross, runway 16.
Henri. Oui, oui. Henri. Alright, on the taxi, I guess we didn't really check the brakes, but we've checked the brakes. The brakes work. Let's go ahead and get the weather radar on, although it's going to fill up with bad information when we do it.
Boston Center, Skyhawk 248 Delta Sierra with request.
That's
Sky
terrain.
248 Delta Sierra, Boston Center,
Weather
standby.
there.
Break, Air France 345.
Let's get the
contact
terrain
Boston Center on 132.
On that side.
American 8550 heavy, wind 080 at 3, runway 4 right, clear to land.
Roger that, runway
Alright,
4 right,
Sierra
American 85.
comes down here to Mike, which crosses left to
American
right.
345, contact Moncton Center,
And I think that is, yeah,
132.2.
that's got to be Mike heading out to runway 5. Alright, departure frequency is preset. We'll just get the landing and strobe lights on, and we're ready to go, guys.
KLS 1121, runway 23. And for the November 28, crush 248 Delta Sierra, Boston Center, go ahead.
Request IFR clearance from Boston to Keene and with Yankee.
Now that says we're at Juliet, but that's just because it's wrong. We're at Mike, short of 5.
November 8 Delta Sierra, things, were you looking for a wings plan? I'm sorry, I missed that.
No wings, we're all set there, just looking to do the same repeat.
Okay, very good. November 8 Delta Sierra, cleared to the
Yeah, flight director will come on Maverick when we engage toga mode.
Vectors, Manchester, then direct, maintain 3000. Departure on this frequency, squawk 4702.
Which we will when we take the runway. Now the toga mode will not advance the throttles. We'll still advance the throttles manually, but that toga mode will kick the flight director's on.
November 8 Delta Sierra, back is correct.
We're doing V speeds 107, 108.
Brakes off of 431, runway
And then we'll pitch up to V2 plus 20, which is pretty much essentially that VT of 140.
American 2054, contact New York approach. Correction, contact New York Center, 125.
Yeah, we just gotta watch that initial altitude restriction of 2,000. That's gonna come up on us super quick, guys. So we'll have to be ready to pull the throttles back.
Runway 238, cross 30 miles east of Loyal at a maintain 1000. The Syracuse altimeter 2985.
2985, 30 miles east of Loyal at 1000 for runway 23.
Center 5, 4 Delta Victor, short of 5 at Bedford, ready.
November 4 Delta Victor, fly runway heading, runway 5, cleared for takeoff.
We have to take off runway 5, runway heading, 5, 4 Delta Victor.
Boston
Boston, Biscayne 395, flight level 270, good evening.
Landing lights,
Biscayne 395,
strobes.
Boston Center, out.
Now we'll go ahead and hit the toga. Like I said, it's not gonna do anything with the throttles. It just kicks that flight director on for us.
Maintain flight level 370.
Start sequencing the points.
KLM 446, turn right heading
Temps and pressures all looking good.
290, runway 23, cleared for takeoff.
Here we go.
American 232, squawk 4707.
4707, American 232.
All right.
1792, cross Goshi at maintain 6000. Cleared ILS runway 4 right approach.
There's V1.
Cross Goshi,
VR.
maintain 6000.
Pitch up.
Cleared ILS for approach,
Delta 1792, cleared ILS runway 4
Gear coming up.
right approach.
Cleared for right.
We'll pitch to 140. We're actually at 160. It's okay. We'll keep the pitch here.
Skyhawk 490 Echo Romeo Boston Center, good evening. And if you're looking for wings, VFR
1000, flaps can come in.
You said you're on the ground at Quonset, I take it.
And let's go ahead and
Zero Echo
pull the
Romeo,
throttles back
departure
for our
on
level off.
frequency, Squawk 4724.
Autopilot. Flight level change. And heading.
Zero Echo Romeo, readback is correct. The wings of VFR3 approved. The wind 140 at 7, runway 14, taxi via Alpha.
Miami.
Al South MIA is here. Let's throttle back and let's not go over about 210.
Our 4 Delta Victor, radar contact at 2000, climb and maintain 14,000.
Altitude checks, climb and maintain 14,000, 5 Delta Victor.
Southwest 431, radar contact at 5,100,
Right.
climb and maintain flight level
So
360.
altitude 14, let's go into flight level change. We gotta put it back into climb.
Revs.
Direct revs, 5 Delta Victor. Alright, let's just get pointed in the right direction via heading mode here
Have you
first.
heading for that?
Negative, we got it.
American 8550 heavy, at this grid.
14. Flight level change to 240.
You can expect a couple areas of light to moderate precipitation scattered
So make
on the
sure
roof
we're
line
in
if you need any
climb.
deviation.
Alright, down to 230, and we'll keep it 5. Thanks, Biscayne 395.
Yeah, we know there's a discontinuity, we know. Lex page, we're going direct to revs and executes and nav mode. I think at this point we probably, what's the,
runway 4 right, clear to land.
temps are well above freezing, so we're okay.
American 527. November 490 Echo Romeo, understand to be ready upon reaching out, get you moving here just a second.
Yeah, Al South MIA is here getting, did you bring an umbrella? No.
Sorry, I think I misheard you there.
No, we're just gonna slum it here, man.
Alright, you did help, and we'll be ready upon reaching to 190.
Okay, very good, thanks. KLM 446, radar contact at 2000.
Our controller, Evan, is not used to us being able to go direct somewhere. If you guys remember, if those of you who've been on stream a little while and you saw the 3rd anniversary congratulatory messages, Evan was the one who was like, well, I guess 3 years of streaming means 3 years of telling us unable every time we send it direct somewhere. So today is one of those rare moments that he actually gets to send me direct, and I get to go there.
American 6130, Boston Center, good evening. Delta.
Yeah, the wings over New England, training flights, Big Brian. Go up to Boston Virtual ARTCC Their website, BVARTCC.com. And it's a series of 6 VFR and 24 IFR training flights where they provide you all the material you need to kind of read through and figure out what you need to do. And then they evaluate you in terms of what's on their radar scope as to whether you performed the flight correctly or not.
Papa Cannon 446.
November 4 Delta Victor, climb and maintain 16,000, the Worcester altimeter 2983.
All right, 16,000, 2983, 5 Delta Victor.
Game 395, descend via the robust
16,000.
4 right, Boston
And we'll
altimeter
set
2983.
2983.
2982, descend via the robust 3 arrival, game 395.
1, 2, 3, and then we'll set that over here in our standby as well. 1, 2, 3.
Eastern 9125 is looking for direct Presque Isle.
Eastern 9125, clear direct Presque.
Rob Valkyrie is here. What's going on, Rob? Hey, we started poking through the clouds there for just a second.
KLM 446, climb and maintain.
I don't know if we're going to or not. We're going to probably be in pretty crappy weather the entire way here, guys.
Climb maintain flight level 200 for KLM 446.
Delta 1792 and 080 at 3, runway 4 right, clear to land.
4 right, clear to land.
Lufthansa 778, cross Goshi at 6,000, cleared ILS runway 4 right.
This is where this sim really kicks X-Plane's butt, right here. Right here, guys. As much as I love X-Plane, this is where this sim really shines. I know Rob Valkyrie doesn't want to hear me say that.
American 527 request taxi to gate.
Undone. I told him we already got one.
Runway 4 left, and then turn left at November.
Join 330 right.
No, Rob, X-Plane, you know me, man. I love X-Plane. It's a fantastic sim, especially for the procedural type of flying that I do. But I mean, look around you, man. X-Plane doesn't touch this. You know, much as I know that you're an advocate, and maybe X-Plane 12 will, but X-Plane 11 does not touch this.
Boston Center, good evening. TBM Gold 1144 at the General Aviation parking at Boston. Request IFR clearance to Bangor as filed.
Gold 1144.
Coming up on 16, we'll get ready to level off.
Bangor Airport via the Logan 2 departure. Radar vectors Alaska.
Probably going to run it up to 305. I think is going to be our top speeds.
Squawk 4731.
Go ahead for now and get the
Clear to Bangor as filed.
seatbelt lights off.
Logan 2 and radar vectors. Initial altitude is 3,000. Squawk code 4731. Gold 1144.
RIT 1314, I think we're still okay without anti-icing, but we'll have to watch that. Yeah, 305, so we're going to kind of just shoot for cruising at 300.
Cross runway 33 left at November, then taxi to the right via Bravo Echo, American 527.
Runway 238, expect vectors RNAV, runway 33 approach, descend and maintain 5,000.
Vectors with the RNAV 33, descend and maintain 5,000, runway 238.
KF 522 Boston Center, you're skimming a bit of side tone, but no voice coming. Do you want to double check the mic for me?
Boston Center, Southwest 4121, coming up to our top of descent here on the Robo 3 arrival.
I'm slowly pulling throttle out because we're still kind of creeping upward. 301, 302 now.
240 on 250.
So I'm just kind of creeping the throttle downward until it starts to settle back in.
Maintain 290 knots or greater.
Direct Pro V290 or greater, American 6130.
November 0, Echo Romeo, say altitude.
Now this page here does not, it's not a plane following, plan mode that isn't meant to be a plane following mode, but what I do is I just go to MFD Advance and kind of just manually step it forward to the next point every little way there, so that kind of keeps me ahead of what we're doing.
Still getting just a side tone only, but no voice. Break Delta 72, are you back up?
Okay, so it's creeping down below 300 now, so we'll just, it looks like about 80 on the 1 is going to do us for today. That's going to be different every flight, depending on weather conditions and depending on
Southwest 1229 Boston.
cruise altitude and such.
Delta 1157, contact Washington Center 133.72.
But
Washington on
But yeah, there's no auto throttle in this plane, so whatever you want to cruise at, you kind of have to just manually tweak the throttle until you get there and settle in. Looks like around 80 is going to do us for today. We'll have to kind of just watch it.
712, flight level 320.
All right, Mechanical Madness, UK, with the follow there. Thank you much. Appreciate that. Take another peek at our plane here. It's the Citation CJ4. I know Wiggle Spank said he wanted a barrel roll, so we'll do this for him real quick. That's our cheating way of doing a barrel roll for Wiggle Spank. There we go.
Maintain 320 for Clipper 712.
Alright, and we're headed up to headed up to Burlington. Let's go ahead and we don't need that. We're kind of done with the Hanscom 3, kind of done with the continuation page. Let's actually just go ahead and start pulling up the BTV. Do we need the 3-3 or the 1-5 at Burlington? Let's figure it out.
The number 8 Delta Sierra, runway 4 left, taxi via
Let's do a dot meter.
Bravo Kilo 248 Delta Sierra.
KBTV. It's 140 at 4, so I think that means the RNAV-15. That makes it easy. We don't have to choose between the two approaches for 3-3. We'll just straight up do the RNAV-15. 29 or 8-3. We'll kind of just start a loose briefing. We'll do a full approach briefing here soon. 140 at 4. Scattered at 11,000, broken at 14,000. So the weather looks like it's going to get a little nicer up there. That's welcome news. But we're going to plan for that RNAV-15.
14 Boston Center. Just looking for you here. Stand by.
RNAV GPS 15. And let's go ahead and pull up the airport diagram as well. Alright, so that he's gonna get us to Stave. I think we're kind of coming in from the south, so I think he probably would give us UNUD and then Stave and then into 15.
American 1314. American 1314 ident.
What's the speed doing? Speed dropped to 280. We must have hit a change in the wind, I guess. I'm not sure what happened there, but we'll get it back up to. We'll pop it up to 90 N1, and we'll see if that gets us.
American 1314, radar contact 200 miles southwest of Boston. For traffic, climb and maintain for level 260 only.
Let's go back to.
Maintain for level 260, American 1314. American 1314, cleared direct to Tusky. Clear direct at Tusky for American 1314.
Now we're cooking.
Thank you very much. Lufthansa 778, following Boeing 737 on a mile final. Wind 080.
So yeah, wind shifted. I don't know if we got into a warmer or colder air mass. Let's check. Temperature didn't really change much. But yeah, we're going to have to kind of constantly dance with the throttle to keep us right up under 300 knots.
Roebuck 3 arrival 298 to an altimeter, and we will maintain 250, 4121.
So
Southwest 1229 to maintain level.
After Ebert is when it's telling us we should be thinking about a descent. It's not marked a TD because we don't have any firm restrictions, crossing restrictions getting into Burlington. Once we pick the approach and we have a firm crossing restriction, it'll actually mark it a TD. But for right now, it just marks that advisory descent like, hey, based on the distance left, you probably want to start thinking about descending here, dude. But it's not a calculated path. It's just kind of like, if you want to be down on the ground by the time you get to the airport, you should probably start descending. Once you have a firm crossing restriction programmed in here, you'll see that change. A little bit of a right turn going in there. We can bump the heading up to match. Always, wet heading was 90 degrees off. Always good to kind of have the heading set to the path that you're going, just in case you get a vector for traffic or vector for weather. You can instantly pop it into heading mode and not start turning off to some random direction. So it's always good to kind of match that heading. We're going to watch the speed here.
Delta 1792.
Flirting with overspeed. 305 is where it will start yelling at us.
Short of runway 4 left.
So we'll bump the throttles down, bleed off a few knots here.
Short 4 left.
See if we can stabilize it right at 300 again.
Monitor Boston Tower 128.8.
Before we get to that advisory descent, we'll try and let Evan know that we've looked at the weather. We're waiting for that RNAV 15 approach. Okay, now we're bleeding too much speed off.
November 6112, radar contact position as reported. Descend and maintain 1000. The Providence altimeter 2978.
I'm not sure what's accounting for these big swings in this speed. I hesitate to say maybe it's just winds are kind of shifting around or whatever's going on. I mean, there's no specific speed we need to be doing right now, so just try and keep it somewhere around 300. If we can get a word in, we'll let them know we want that RNAV 15.
Runway 238, 4 miles from Loyal, fly heading.
Let's go ahead and start briefing it. There's no frequency in course because the approach course is 146, but there's no frequency in course to dial in. 146. If we do need to go missed, it's 1,000 and then 5,600 to unit. So 5,600, we'll have to check and make sure that we dial that in. Make sure that it's correct in the FMC as well. And he's busy. He's busy.
And a couple on the ones there, but JetBlue's 1387.
I'm going to go ahead and start programming this just so we're ahead of the game here.
And who else called?
Boston Tower, good evening, United 3023 on Riley.
He's still got more than one call. RNAV 15 from unit is what we're pretty sure we're going to get.
Runway 23, taxi via Tango, November.
So we'll check it in the legs page.
Alright, 23 by Tango November, Mike Alpha Cross 116.
Yeah, I'm not sure when we'll get that exactly, but at some point he'll just shortcut us to it. Unit and then stave at 32. I'm just looking at FOVs at 2,000 just to verify the altitudes. John, what? There's our overspeed alarm.
I think I sent you a PDC. If you don't have it, then well, actually, either way, give the tower call when you're ready to go. 128.8. JetBlue, correction, United 3723, cleared to the Dallas airport via the Bradley.
Look at our approach
radar vectors veers, then as filed.
Performance, so we'll go perf
on this frequency,
and approach.
4733.
OAT is predicted as 26 there.
And squawk 4733 and checking your departure.
26.
3723, back is correct. Device ready to push. Expect runway 6.
113 and 121. Send that to the FMC.
Runway 33, clear to land. Lufthansa 778, join runway 33 right, hold short of runway 4 left.
Hold short 4 right left.
Lufthansa 778, monitor Boston Tower 128.8.
128.8, have a good night. See you.
Minimums.
696 to 7 maintain, full level 230, then maintain.
LNAV, VNAV is 645. So we'll set that.
1314, thanks for your patience. Call maintain, full level 350.
We'll say 650.
Delta 557 Boston Center, descend and maintain, full level 230, then transition at 270 knots.
Descend and maintain 230, then transition at 270 knots.
Alright, what else?
We also have Yankee Delta 557.
We talked about the winds, we talked about the ceilings. Missed approach altitude, we said I think was 5,900, is that what I said? 5,600, 56. 7 times 8, 56.
2978, expect vectors ILS runway 23 approach.
Expect ILS vectors 23 approach, 412, thank you.
4 Delta Victor, 11 and altimeter 2986.
2986, we got the weather at Burlington, look for the RNAV 15.
November 4 Delta Victor, expect RNAV runway 15 approach.
Alright. 2986 is what he said, so we'll get that set.
Boston Center had a computer disconnect, November 187 Delta Victor, with you.
November 187 Delta Victor, Boston Center, ident.
Let's see if we get a... We got 2 Delta Victors called back-to-back. I wonder if he'll catch it and give us the caution similar call sign, will we?
And November 187 Delta Victor, if you can also just double-check that your flight plan has come through again, you might have to refile it. I don't have anything
missed approach was 56. Let's check it in the legs as well.
One moment. Thank you. Southwest 431, cross Harva.
Okay, unit at 56 is correct. Okay, good. Looks like we might be coming out of that weather, too. We'll see.
Southwest 431, cross Harva at a maintain, flight level 190.
All right, so once again, the approach briefing. Oh, we got a raid coming in. Who is that? Cole Fork. Colonel Fork with the raid. Thank you so much. It's been a while since we've seen you. Good to hear from you, dude. Hope all is well. We are flying the Working Title CJ4 mod. I'd give you an exterior shot, but I don't think you're going to see much. Oh, well, okay. Oh, perfect timing. There we go. Back into the soup we go. Doing the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England training flights. We're on IFR number 14 for those of you playing the home game. We're flying through the soup here up to Burlington, Vermont in the Working Title CJ4 mod. Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. Microsoft Cloud Simulator right now. Thank you much for that raid, man. We appreciate it. Good to hear from you.
I'll jump in. November 187 Delta Victor. I refiled the flight plan, the wedding squad code.
November 7 Delta Victor, thank you for that. Squawk 4730.
Oh, and the last thing with our briefing, by the way, we didn't check is the turnoff direction. So it looks like this is Air National Guard up here. Okay, well, it looks like that's the terminal. So GA parking. Oh, there's 3 GA parkings. We'll go to the GA parking. We'll go to the GA parking south of the terminal. So right-hand turnoff of 15. Hopefully before 19, but either way. Right-hand turnoff, back to Golf towards the terminal, and then south on Alpha. If we can make the turnoff at Alpha, that'd be ideal. 8,300-foot runway, we should be able to get it stopped in the first half. But... All right, 2983 and 11000, 5 Port Delta Victor. 11000.
Pushing Star and Bradley. Sunway 238, second. Everybody pushing Star and Bradley, United 3723. Sunway 238, taxi via Mike Bravo Alpha.
And we'll go FLC and 280, basically.
Back to discretion. Right, acquisition on discretion.
Drop the thrust to about 50%. In a business jet this light, you don't typically do like a full idle descent. 50%'s usually about good. We'll go ahead and get the seatbelt lights on.
Already right, 280,
Care 522 Boston Center, have your request. Break jet 7622 Boston Center, you're on at 25.
Yep, I'm there.
Thank you. Air France 347 Boston Center.
Yeah, I'm with you. I was waiting for a moment. Flight level 330.
Thank you very much. Charlie Romeo 47 Boston Center.
Charlie Romeo 47, flight level 350, cut to everybody.
3 for 3. Thank you very much, guys. KLM 446 cross AZ Adam.
El Peru is here. Yep, it's the. No, it's not a CRJ. It's the Citation CJ4. Very, very similar in avionics style to the CRJ, but it's a business jet seating 8.
Care 522.
That's what we're flying today.
Just you want to go VFR to Boston. Maintain VFR out of below 3,000. Departure on this frequency. Squawk 4702.
At or below 3,000 departure on this frequency, and negative flight falling for KF 522.
Looks like we are kind of coming into some nicer weather, thank goodness.
4702, KF 522.
KF 522, back in runway 23, taxi via Alpha.
23 via Alpha, KF 522.
This game 390, contact Boston Tower 128.830.
2080, have a nice job. Nice job, good night.
Boston Center, Walker, Santa Fe, level 250, new tribute 230.
Walker 720, Boston Center, Roger, and cross these out of maintain level 270.
Ah, yes, that's right. News FLC consider. My apologies, I read that wrong.
From Jumpway 696, descend via the Roebuck pre-arrival, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2982. You're going to encounter several areas of light to moderate precipitation on the route. If you need to deviate, advise.
Roger that, we'll descend via the Roebuck.
So our advisory descent disappeared.
82, thanks for advice. Jumpway 696.
Number 4 Delta Victor, clear direct UNUD.
Direct to UNUD, 5-4 Delta Victor.
Southwest 431, start your descent.
Southwest 589 with you at 33,000.
Southwest 589 Boston Center. Southwest 431, start your descent. Skywest 1121, radar contact.
Should be banking
3005,
left.
climb and
Yeah,
maintain
okay.
10,000 and proceed direct jumper.
Leveled off at 11, so we'll add some power back in. Keep that 280 going.
Jumper, Skywest 122.
Number 112, turn left heading 045, vector to final, descend and maintain 5,000.
So now we've got a calculated TOD because we're leveled 11 and we have a hard altitude at Stave. So it now knows where it wants us to start that descent.
Goals 41144, contact Boston Tower 12.
Oh, and starting to get underneath the worst of the weather, it looks like.
Southwest 4121 cross.
Don't forget, guys, once we get established on this approach, pretty much once we're descending and maybe if we're turning towards Stave,
American 6130, maintain.
that'll be your cue to start putting some predictions in as far as the descent rate upon touchdown. We'll take just a number into the chat, positive or negative. There's no bot command on this channel for that. You just type the number and hit enter. Not yet, but when we're turning towards Stave, you can start putting those in. Closest one gets an entry into our monthly landing rate raffle. We're going to pull the winner of that on Wednesday's stream. So just 2 days from now. So tonight you get 2 more opportunities to enter that raffle. If you're the closest one in either direction to the actual descent rate upon touchdown, you get an entry into that stream, into that raffle that we're going to pull on Wednesday's stream.
Delta Victor, maintain at or above 8,000 until established in the TAA. Cleared RNAV, runway 15 approach.
All right, at or above 8,000 until the TAA, and cleared for the RNAV-15 approach, 5-4 Delta Victor.
Delta 557,
all right, so
the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 4 right.
We're currently cleared down to 8,000.
Boston altimeter 2982.
We don't want to start down there yet, because that at or above. We don't need to start down there until we hit that top of descent point. The TAA is covered in a later lesson, but Evan knows I know this stuff. So the TAA basically says once we're within 30 to UNID, we can go down to 71. Once we're within 11 of UNID, we can go to 46.
Skyhawk 490 Echo Romeo, radar contact.
Once we're at UNID, we can go down to 3,200. Once we're at Steve, we can go to 2,000. So all the information. We're overspeeding again. Sorry. All the altitude information we need is on the chart. How do we know how far we are from UNID, by the way? Right here.
Right up to 260, Skywest 1120.
So within 30, we can now go down to 71. So I'll set the altitude of that, although the plane doesn't want to start down there yet. That's fine.
KLM 446, contact New York approach 120.8.
But we can actually go into VNAV mode now.
120.8, see you next time, KLM 446.
Prepared 4744 Boston Center, hello. Prepared 4744, squawk 2160. 2160. Walker 720, clear direct to Provi. Walker 720, clear direct Provi. Direct Provi, Walker 720.
Since we're just about to do that, hit that top of the descent, we'll go ahead and do the passenger briefing for the landing.
May I have your attention, please? We will be landing shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices, slow tables, secure baggage.
Go ahead and get the logo. I don't think I ever turned logo and landing lights off.
4744.
But go ahead and turn them back on.
What's going on here with your information? I don't know why that didn't pop up. Right here, 4744. Radar contact.
And then we can start
southwest of Kennedy.
slowing it down to 240.
1000. The Bradley altimeter 2975, runway 6.
CP Morrell is with us. CP, thank you so much. Welcome, welcome. Getting ready to land in Burlington, Vermont. Performing some training flights that are published by the Boston Virtual ARTCC on VATSIM. And let's take our MFD and we'll step it a few more forward. Yeah, that'll work. That's good right there.
170 greater than Milt.
170 greater than Milt, 4121.
November 0 back to Romeo, flighting 340 back to for sequence.
340 and I think it's 130.
November 0 back to Romeo, maintain
We're within 11 of Unid. Then we can take it to 4600.
November 0 back to negative, it's 2525.
So we're not yet within 11 of Unid, so we're still limited by that 7100.
1229, cross Goshi at 6000,
So
cleared
outside of 11, 7100. Inside of 11, 4600. Well, I should say outside of 11, but to 30. 11 to 30 miles from Unit, 7100's okay.
Maintain 2000, 250 knots, the KBED altimeter 29.
All right, there we go. We've started down.
Yes, 12000, 250 knots.
We should let him know we started down.
November 112, descend and maintain 4000.
Maintain 4,000, 6112.
That is 3723, turn left, correction, turn right, heading 075, runway 6.
How the adventure's been, Colonel Fork says, yeah, man, been good. Been really well-attended stream lately. I've really been pleased.
347, contact Monkston Center, 132.2.
Through 10, speed's creeping up, so I'm going to knock it down here, see if we can get back down to 240. The Center 5 and 4 Delta Victor's now out of 11,000 for the approach.
Walker 720, I got part of that. Do you use for descent? Came to Boston. Walker 720, roger. And when you're ready to send via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2982. Descend via the Roebuck 4 right, 2982. Boston Native Zulu, now current altimeter 2982, no significant changes. Who else called unanswered?
5 and 4 Delta Victor's letting you know we left 11,000. We're now 8,900 descending.
4 Delta Victor, thank you.
Yeah, Colonel Fork, yep, new mic as of a couple months ago. Yep, absolutely. Very observant. Impressed. Still going to bring the speed back to 240. All right, we are within 11 of Unit now. So within 11 of Unit, we can now knock it down to 4600.
Altitude.
Care 522.
Care 522, Boston Center.
Care 522, radar contact at 2,300.
4600.
Right, or is that your on-course setting?
This is my on-course for Care 522.
Care 522, climb to appropriate VFR altitudes.
Hey, no, you don't need to apologize, dude. You don't need to apologize. I'm just impressed that you noticed the mic. It's this monstrosity that's sitting right in front of my face. But yeah, I do think it sounds a lot better.
Maintain 250 knots until advised.
So you can catch every moment like those little throat clears with insane clarity.
United 3723, radar contact at 3,000, climb and maintain 1.
We'll do one more barrel roll here for wiggle spec.
Direct fears.
110,000 and K0 Spears, south.
And keep it to about 240 for now.
7622, descend via the Ocean 5 arrival, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2983.
Descend via Ocean 5, 2983, 7622.
Number 0 Echo Romeo, turn right being 050, and you can expect runway 4 left now. Change to runway 4 left, reported in sight.
Right, 050,
Southwest 4121, contact Boston Tower 128.
Alright, there we go.
for Boston Towers.
Now that we're headed into state, you guys can start putting your predictions in. Number into the chat, positive or negative. No bot command is necessary. Just a number, positive or negative, and the closest person to the actual descent rate upon wheels touching. Yeah, we do need to knock that down to 3,200 now. Closest to the prediction of the actual descent rate upon wheels touching will get an entry into Wednesday's raffle. Furry Co-Pilot just gave you the lowdown on that, so.
Flight level 240 to
there you go. Below minimums is here. What's good? Hopefully the landing you're about to see, but who knows?
Southwest 4121, if you're not already, contact Boston.
Oh, AJ's with you? Oh, God. Pressure's on. No pressure, guys. No professionals watching.
5 o'clock.
Yeah, bring it down to about 210 now, since we're getting ready to intercept final.
8,500 for the parallel runway. Report the traffic and the airport in sight.
Altitude.
We're within 1,000.
712 leaving my airspace. New York's closed. Radar service
Ow.
to change approved.
Hopefully my sound filter caught that for you guys, but that was a slightly loud in my ear.
Thank you very much. November 112, turn left heading 250 on the localizer.
All right, starting the right turn now. We're going to start pulling it to 170. We can now take it down to 2,000. We are clear for the approach. We can go ahead and arm that mode.
United 3723, climb and maintain for level 320.
As soon as we get down under 200, we'll get the first notch of flaps out.
Southwest 1229, are you going to be able to make the approach?
Keep those predictions coming, guys.
Lima Romeo Papa.
Altitude.
That was Keavr, K-E-A-V-R. You should see it on the hype rate.
And I think for
But if you can't find it, you can just stay on the route. But I will need to read back on
for
the hour.
LPV, I think we've got to lower the selector to the
JetBlue 1387 Boston Center radar contact. Climb and maintain 1.
Lower the selector until it captures glide path. All right, there's 200. Let's get flaps 15 in gear.
0 Echo Romeo, make 1 left 360, descend and maintain VFR at 2,000.
And we'll keep it at 170.
Okay, thanks. I'll get you back on course in a second. Break Southwest 1229, contact Boston Tower 128.8.
And we do need to verify our landing clearance.
November 112, 4 miles from Kuski, maintain 2,100 until established on the localizer. Code ILS runway 4, caution, Code ILS runway 23 approach.
All right, holding on flaps. We got geared down in green. Missed approach altitude 56.
Negative, just static course, please.
We're holding on that as well. We'll get the autopilot and the yaw damper off.
Victor, runway 18, clear to land.
Confirm 15.
That's what I meant, thanks. November 4 Delta Victor, runway 15, clear to land.
Cleared land 155 for Delta Victor. Alright, landing clearance received.
Contact Moncton Center 132.2.
Moncton Center 132.2. Thanks for your help, American 232.
JetBlue 333, climb and maintain, level 320.
Alright, so Foves is our 5 miles final.
Turn left,
We'll go ahead and get it down to
turn left heading 360, vector.
get it down to landing flaps and speed.
Maintain 5,000. November 112, wind 180 at 10, runway 23, clear to land. Delta 557, cross Goshi at 6,000, clear ILS runway
120 and 113.
Maintain 210 knots or less.
Autopilot.
JetBlue 696, maintain 170 knots per
56.
mil.
My airplane.
Romeo, make straight in runway 4 left, contact Boston Tower 128.8.
120.
Thank you. Gold 1144 Boston Center radar contact. Climb and maintain 5,000. Telescope.
500.
Stable.
Jet booster K7 Boston
Again,
Center
stable.
radar contact. Climb and maintain 14,000.
500.
Again,
Gold
stable.
1144. Turn right direct lobster.
Continuing. 116 is our VRF.
Number 6542 Victor Boston Center, good evening. The Bradley altimeter 29076, expect runway 6.
Eventually, I'd like to touch down, please. There we go.
Bonanza 224 Papa Alpha Boston Center, good evening. Don't show you, you said you were at Hartford? Oh, that's what happened. Okay, then
It looks like we probably made the turnoff just after the crossing runway.
Via the Hanscom 3 departure. Radar vectors match, direct, maintain 2,000.
So it looks like this might be
Departure
Bravo
frequency
and Golf.
4736.
Yeah, I was on speeds, so I don't know why it floated so badly. I was on speeds, but
Expect runway 5, advise ready to taxi.
maybe overflared it. This plane, if you overflared it, it'll do that. Let's go ahead and get clean here. Flaps and spoilers in.
Boston Center, November 187.
We're waiting to get a word in for our taxi in.
4,000.
Strobe lights off, taxi light on.
November 7 Delta Victor, you can stay at 11,000 for now unless you really want lower.
No, that's fine. Thank you so much.
The pitot and static can come off.
Break, Gold 1144, climb and maintain 17,000. That'll be your final.
And the weather and the terrain radar can come off. Whoops, that's not that. That's down here. Where is it? Terrain.
Number 4 Delta Victor, cross runway 19 on Bravo, taxi to the ramp via Alpha, and I'll put your wings flight through in a moment here.
All right, cross 19 at Bravo and ramp via Alpha, 5-4 Delta Victor. Thank you.
Charlie Romeo Romeo 47, contact Moncton Center 132.2.
All right, let's figure out where we are. So,
132.2, thank you for your service.
so cross a straight ahead Bravo.
November 112, make the 180 back taxi runway 23. And join
Okay,
Alpha
there we
to
go.
the ramp.
Straight ahead Bravo. And then we'll make the right, and then it should be a left onto Alpha. So this will be the main terminal up ahead. I am experiencing this bug that I think a lot of people are, with some pieces of buildings that are not showing. Not much I can do about that. Hopefully World Update 6 will fix some of that issues. Talk about the winning number here in just a moment, guys. Again, I felt like I was more or less good on the VREF and V approach, but I did have to come down kind of steep at the end because of those trees, so maybe that picked me up a little bit of speed. And that might have accounted for that little bit of float there, but still overall happy with the performance.
November.
And I didn't feel like I was like coming in like super nose up. I didn't feel like I overflared it, but sometimes that can be a thing in this plane. If it wants to come in kind of nose down, if you flare it the least bit too much, it will float like that. But like I said, overall, I didn't feel too bad about it.
696, cancel approach clearance, climb and maintain.
I would have wanted to turn off on Alpha before the crossing runway, but I went one taxiway too far. Not all that displeased with it. For not having flown this plane in 3 months, I'm not at all unhappy. We got one more to do. We'll talk about the winning number here in just a moment.
128.8.
I'll Peru. Give me a second. I like to build a little suspense on these things. The X-plane stats pop up right on the screen. I know you guys figured out who the winner is before I do. On this one, I get to build a little suspense. We'll park in the shade right here.
696. Turn
Parking
right
brake on.
980.
Taxi light off. We can put the engine number 1 back into stop. Again, engine number 2 basically acts as our APU, kind of like in the DC-3. We can reset the minimums in the refs menu. All right, we'll reset the warnings first of all.
Maintain for level 320.
Reset the minimums in the refs menu. What else?
Brake air 4744, turn right heading 030.
Safety and seatbelt lights can come off. Yeah, El Peru, when we do this in Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, only I see it until I tell you guys.
Maintain 4000.
Only I see it until I tell you guys. So I get to build the suspense, whereas an X-plane, when we fly, it pops up right on the screen.
There's a VFR airplane.
Let's see. What do I want to do?
To get you out of his way.
The safety and seatbelt lights can come off. We'll squawk 1200 and shut the transponder off. Back into standby mode. And we'll check our fuel and ETA. I had predicted, we got off just a few minutes late. I had predicted 8:47 on the ground, 8:52 on the blocks. We're 15 minutes late. But I think that's because my spreadsheet calculates us for being at cruise at high altitude. We were at 16 doing 300 knots instead of doing the usual, 450 knots. So my calculations might be, a little bit off tonight for that reason. 2,447 pounds predicted, and we've got just a little bit short of that. We got about 2,200 pounds. But again, I think we were not quite as fuel efficient because we were only at 16,000 feet. I think we're going to be okay. We got plenty of reserves for Lake 2, so I think we're going to be okay there. Let's see if I can just put in 2,200, and that'll inform our prediction for the second leg.
Skywest 1121, contact Washington Center, 133.7.
All right, let's talk about that winning number. The predictions and the entry into Wednesday's raffle goes to the person who was the closest guesser to 128. Now look at that G-force there, guys. I don't know what accounts for that 2G rate reading there. But the descent rate upon touchdown was 128 feet per minute, so let's see
Southwest 589 cross
who was closest to that. 128. We had the predictions of 135. Al South opened with a really good one, 152, 111. 200, 120. Undone was 8 away. 28, 35. Al South was 7 away, so Al South's was 1 closer than Undone's. Let's see if we had anybody else in that same range. Maxwell with the 142. Maxwell, welcome to the stream, by the way. Great guess. E-Dunn, yeah, this guy is killing it. This is Evan. This is actually the guy, E-Dunn, if you saw a couple months ago, you saw our congratulatory messages for the 3rd anniversary. Evan was the one he's the co-founder of the Flight Sim Expo and the co-founder of Flight Sim Association. So he was the one that was like, yeah, I guess that means 3 years of streaming means 3 years of you saying unable every time we try to send you direct anywhere. That was Evan. That's who we're hearing. And yeah, he is. He's a killer controller too. So yeah, we're gonna. But he's basically responsible. He and his colleague Phil are basically responsible for Flight Sim Expo. So it's because of this guy that we're hearing that we're getting to go to San Diego in about 700 hours.
Approach request is runway 16.
November 7 Delta Victor, to prepare the weather, expect the RNAV runway 16 approach if unable advise.
Yeah, Max, I didn't remember seeing you before, but welcome back. Appreciate having you back here. Red Warhawk coming with the 163. Yeah, so it looks like it's going to be Al South MIA and edged out. I feel bad. Undone got edged out by 1. Undone with the 120 was 8 away. Al South with the 135 was 7 away. But Al South is the winner. Al South, MIA, at KBTV on 823. Congratulations, Al, for a very hard-fought win there. We got one more flight to do tonight, so there's one more chance to get your entry into that monthly raffle that we're going to pull on Wednesday. So these are going to be the last 2 entries into that raffle. I am going to take a quick break out of the cockpit, then we're going to go over the briefing for wings number 15. Do I get the 72-inch TV? No, you get a chance to win some Slant Alpha merchandise. A chance, Al, a chance to win any one of these items here, including any of my stuff or a $25 Amazon or a $25 Explain.org store gift card. Now, Al, I'll tell you that if you buy your TV off of Amazon, it'll be $25 cheaper if you happen to win the raffle on Wednesday.
Walker 720, maintain 170 knots or greater.
All right, guys, how do we do with the parking?
Boston Tower 128.8.
Well, parked kind of crooked. Oh, wait, that's just the camera.
Good day, Southwest 589, maintain 170 knots or greater to Milt.
Not too bad, not too bad. All right, very good, guys. We're parked right in the shade for you, though. That's a good thing.
Descend to maintain 2000.
All right, we'll let you see the activity here at Burlington, Vermont. Probably not a lot of it on VATSIM on an average day, but we'll go ahead and give you a nice shot of the runway just in case. We'll let you listen into the air traffic control while I take a quick break out of the cockpit. Lots of flying left to do as we continue on with the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings over New England series of VFR and IFR training flights as we go from Burlington to Syracuse right after these guys. Stick around, lots of flying left to do. And one more entry into our monthly landing rate raffle, so stay tuned.
Walker, script. November 7 Delta Victor, cross head trip at or above 4,000, cleared RNAV runway 16 approach. November 4 Papa Alpha, clear direct band transfer. Southwest 1229, turn right heading 260, maintain 170 knots. JetBlue 696, maintain 170 knots. I'll have the base turn for you in 1 minute. November 42 Victor, turn left heading 360, vector ILS runway 6 approach. Gold 1144, the Bangor altimeter 2987.
2987, 1144.
Brickyard 4744, turn right at Hotel, then join Echo to the ramp. Brickyard 4744, cross runway 33 at Echo. Good night. November 42 Victor, descend to maintain 5,000. November 7 Delta Victor, yeah, you can descend to 4,000 there and then follow the step downs on the approach from there. JetBlue 696, turn right heading 330. Southwest 1229, turn right heading 020 and set the localizer.
You're missing all my good jokes.
Southwest 589, maintain 170 knots to Mill.
You missed all my really good jokes, guys. Flight Force. I couldn't tell if it said Flight Force or Fight Force. I had to kind of look closer at it. It does say Flight Force, so you're on the right channel. Welcome to the stream, Flight Force 77. And welcome to a non-Slant Alpha Adventures show. Slant Alpha, by the way, those of you new to the channel, means that we navigate through all of the old school VOR radio tracking and NDB bearings and all that old school radio stuff. Tonight we're doing something a little bit different. We are doing we're continuing the Boston Virtual ARTCC's Wings over New England training flights, IFR and VFR training flights. We're on IFR number 14 that we just finished up here in Burlington, and then we're going to be continuing on to Syracuse, New York, as part of IFR training flight number 15. And I'm going to show you the specs for that in just a moment, so you'll know what it is they're going to be expecting us to do and do properly. So we'll show you that in just a moment. So this is not, because these advanced IFR training flights do go into RNAV procedure, and they do offer some alternate instructions for those of us who want to do it Slant Alpha, but because I'm performing these in the vein of demonstrating it to other pilots who might be willing to try them, I'm trying to do them the more common way of using all of the regular RNAV capability that most people would want to use. I'm one of the few people on this network that actually prefers to fly old school radio navigation mode, Slant Alpha rather than RNAV. So for tonight's purposes and the next handful of Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings over New England flights, I am going to be using RNAV-capable planes, probably this Working Title CJ4 for the majority of them. And by the way, there she is, that beautiful black limo livery that I have for the Working Title CJ4 mod and Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. There we go. And the light bloom effect, this sim is just gorgeous, man. It's just gorgeous, and this plane's a lot of fun. I know there's a lot of reasons why X-Plane is a fantastic sim, but this plane really makes Microsoft Flight Sim 2020 shine. All right, we have gotten our entry, one of two tonight, into our landing rate raffle for Wednesday, but additionally we have a raffle that you can enter by cashing in your Twitch channel points. If you've been around the stream long enough to have 1,000 of those Alphabets points down there at the bottom of the chat panel, a little button tells you how many you have and gives you the option, if you click on it, to cash in 1,000 for one entry or 5,000 for 6 entries into that first of two raffles that we're going to pull the winner of on Wednesday's stream. We do it every month, so if you miss out on this coming Wednesday, we're going to do it all over again for September. As a matter of fact, I'm working on the September show schedule, so I should be publishing that here by the end of the week. Hopefully by Wednesday. Melvin is here, says my black limo is ready. Yes, sir. Hop right in. You're in the VIP seat, sir. Red Warhawk says 100 more points, and I've got another 6. Oh, you'll definitely hit that tonight. We'll let you build up some on Wednesday, too. So pop in on Wednesday. We're going to pull that winner toward the end of the stream, so we'll give you some more chances to build up and cash in those points. And El Peru, we owe you just the one. Okay, good. And if I spelled your username properly, which I think I did, you and everybody else can now hit exclamation point TIX to see how many you have entered in. But again, if you're new to the stream, you probably don't have any, I promise you. But if you're new to the stream, you're starting to build up those Twitch channel points there at the bottom of the channel, of the chat panel rather. It'll allow you to cash in 1,000 for 1 or 5,000 for 6. There, Melvin Leroy gets 6. Guy Audit gets 1. Guy Audit, welcome to the stream, man. I know you very well from over on our friend Sim Caesar's channel. I don't know that I've seen you here, or if I have, it's been a while and I don't remember, but it's good to see you here. Skydiver Rob, that's our third Rob of the evening. He's getting 1 in, so very good. Very good. Let me get those taken care of. Melvin Leroy gets 6.
20 knot overtake now on the aircraft in front of you, but the spacing looks okay. Just keep pulling it right back to final and contact Boston Tower 128.8.
Guy gets 1.
7622, turn right heading 310. LE 4097, radar contact,
Skydiver,
altimeter 2983.
Skydive.
Maintain 11,000, copy altimeter, tank, LE 4997.
127. So it's either Skydiver Ob or it's Skydive Rob. I'm going to let you guys use your imagination as to which one do you think it is. Either way, Ob gets a... yeah, hi guys, Ob here. Right. Either way, Ob gets a raffle. You came in right as I was going to say, right as Ob gets a ticket into our raffle that's going to be pulled on Wednesday. Welcome. Thanks for playing along with our silly, stupid games. Equalizer says, have any of you ever tried any free third-party planes, and what were your thoughts? I have not in this sim. I have this. This is a mod. This is a freeware mod of a default plane, and I also use the freeware mod for the Cessna 152, which is a default plane that has a freeware mod. And as a matter of fact, that now is its own. So now the JP Logistics doesn't mod the stock C-152. It actually creates a separate C-152. Although the base model and stuff is still copied from stock. So those are the two freeware mods that I use, and this is fantastic. This is the best plane in the sim right now, head and shoulders. But as far as the complete add-on planes, I don't use any of them yet. I've been eyeing up that Waco biplane, which I hear is very, very good, and I've been actually eyeing up that helicopter, that Airbus helicopter.
Eastern 9125, contact Moncton Center 132.2.
32.2 is long, Eastern 91.
Take it.
If I had just waited, Dunk Mac, I could have done that all in one. Can't wait to see what the sim is like in 5 years. It's going to be amazing. It's come a long way. They just actually last week celebrated its first anniversary, and it has come a long way, and it continues to improve. And I am impressed with the Asobo team for the dedication to improvement. I just think that the process is a little messy at times. The process is a little goofy at times. All right, let's talk about this Wings Over New England flight number 15. I don't want to yammer on forever and ever tonight. We're hoping to get airborne. Let's just recalculate and say we're hoping to be airborne by 10 o'clock.
Jet 7622, contact Boston Tower 128.8.
That'll give us some time to go over it because there are some... Maddie is still having crash-to-desktop issues. Maddie, I hate to hear that, man. I wish I had any advice for why your installation was so different than mine. I have had very few stability issues with mine, but again, I know we've talked about it before, and it sucks to hear, but I just really don't know. What would be different about yours than mine, man. I don't know. As long as you draw one of my tickets, I'm happy, that says Dunk Mac. Alright, let's talk about Wings 15. Okay, let's go back. By the way, this is the Boston Virtual ARTCC website. This is the Boston controllers within VAT USA on the VATSIM network, and we got one of them that we're hearing in our ears right now. And so they have a series of these 30 training flights, 24 IFR, 6 VFR, and then 24 IFR training flights. This Wings and then this intro kind of tells you, and in addition to being a really good training program, it's also a nice tour of the airspace. But I think really honestly, just going to the flight index and seeing what it contains is a really good summary of what it is. Now you can't see the individual flight descriptions unless you sign up for this website, and you sign up for this website using your VATSIM credentials. So you have to be on a VATSIM network, and then you can sign into this website using your VATSIM credentials. But at least you get the short summaries of each flight, and the idea is that each one that you do builds more and more progressively on the skills and knowledge that you learned in the previous. Then when you open up each individual flight, like we're about to do with IFR-15, it goes over the exact test standards. So this is what we're going to be graded on, and graded pass-fail. You either complete it successfully or you don't, and you have to repeat it. There's not like a numerical grade or a letter grade. Yeah, the grade is either you did it or you didn't. There's the summary here. It tells you where you're starting and ending, and again, each one starts where the last one left off. So if you fly them in succession, you know, like I said, each one picks up right where you ended the last one. And so each one gives you a good summary of the new material that you need to learn. And again, we're in a series of the, you know, in the middle ones that talk about RNAV capability. So we are using an RNAV-capable plane, like I said, kind of bucking the theme of the stream. The theme of the stream is non-RNAV flying with just that old radio-based navigation. But for the purposes of doing these flights and demonstrating them for others who might want to try them, I'm going to just go ahead and do these the common way, I guess. Anyway, so this one gives us the practice of flying in Class Alpha airspace above transition level. United States transition level is universally flight level 180, transition altitude 18,000. So that's the entire North American continent. In fact, standard pressure is 299.2 above that threshold. You just automatically switch. You're not told by the controller. You just automatically switch. You have to remember. And that's where we call it a flight level as opposed to an altitude. If you're at an altitude in thousands and hundreds of feet, you're tuned to the local altimeter. If you're at a flight level, you're tuned to the standard altimeter. So if you're never in the U.S., you're never at flight level 10,000 or flight level 100. You're at 10,000. You're at 10,000 feet, and that altitude is flown by calibrating to the altimeter setting locally around you. So the difference between a flight level and an altitude is a flight level you're tuned to standard and you refer to it in 3 digits, and then you add 2 zeros to make it a true altitude. Not really a true altitude. I'm using the wrong terminology. Anyway, above 18,000, you pronounce it as flight level 350, which you would consider 35,000 feet. But it's 35,000 feet plus or minus the difference because you're set at a standard altimeter, standard pressure setting on your altitude gauge. If you're at an altitude, if you're at 17,000 or 17,500, then you're tuned to the local altimeter, and you're not calling it a flight level. The other thing that happens is, so we know, let's actually go into the plane. We'll talk about this next concept here. It talks about lowest usable flight level. So we're at 360 feet more or less because we're tuned to the local altimeter. I'm going to shut this off. I'm just going to shut the voices off for just a second. All right, so we are at, and what's the charted field elevation here? Is 355 feet, and the altimeter's reading 360. Okay, so close enough. So we're tuned to the local altimeter setting at 2986, and we're sitting at 360 feet, and we're reading 360 feet. If we were to set it higher, the altitude would read higher. If we were to set it lower, the altitude would read lower. Okay, right? So the altitude might not be accurate depending on whether your pressure is set to below the local weather conditions or above the local weather conditions. The same is true if you're at the flight levels. That concept doesn't change. What changes is everybody around you is also set to standard setting. So if you all are set to 29 or 902 and the local pressure for where you are is 2892, you all have your altimeter set a full inch above the actual conditions around you. So you're all flying about 1,000 feet higher than you really think you are or what's on your gauge. But as long as everybody around you is doing it, everything is fine. The problem comes in when you are in a low pressure area right on the bottom boundary of that flight level, because you are going to have your, let's say the pressure is 2892. But you have yours set an inch higher. So the actual pressure is lower than what you have yours set at. So your plane is going to be higher than it really is. It's going to think it's higher than it really is. Okay? So the problem is that means you're going to be, below 180 Whereas people that are calibrated to the local altimeter flying at 17.5 are also going to be just below 180. So when the atmospheric conditions are low pressure, there's this bleed over from the flight levels kind of sink. They kind of come down lower than what they really are reading on the gauge, and the bottom end of the flight levels infringes on the top end of the locally calibrated altitudes. So that's why when the standard pressure is below standard, when the local pressure is below standard, you cannot file flight level 180. When it goes up to 299 the lowest cruise altitude you can file is 190. When it goes another inch below that, the lowest altitude you can file is flight level 200, because again, it's approximately 1 inch per 1,000 feet. That's just kind of coincidentally pretty close, but it's easy to remember. But it prevents planes flying at flight level 180 that are actually flying along at 17.5 plus a half inch of variation in the pressure from conflicting with planes that are flying at 17.5 and calibrated locally. So that's why this phenomenon exists, and we'll see actually if we pull a METAR at Burlington, Vermont, KBTV, we'll see that the local is 29084, so that means it's below standard. It's below 29092, so that means we can't file 180 for this flight. Floridian pilot with the follow. Thank you very much. Hope that you all are following. So we are not going to be able to file 180. The lowest westbound altitude we can file today is flight level 200. We have to keep that in mind. All right, so that's a very important part of this lesson. We are going to be using a high altitude routing, so we are going to be on the IFR high chart. It's talking about how to make a direct, which we'll talk about when we get into the plane. We're talking about RNP approaches. They have sometimes this what they call radius to fix, this curved path that intersects these points. I don't think the CRJ actually does this. I think the CRJ is going to make this a series of straight line segments, so it's not going to look as nice as this. So we won't be able to fly this approach perfectly. Hopefully it'll be good enough for purposes of passing the flight. But anyway, so we will... and it talks about RNP, the required navigation performance. So there's a factor that tells you how accurate your navigation system is. And if it's 0.1 or 0.15, certain approaches require certain navigational accuracy in order to be able to accept them. All RNP approaches specify an accuracy of value, and that means your lateral navigation has to meet that standard 95% of the time. So there's a level of certification here that we don't really enforce on VATSIM. If we say our plane is able to fly this, then no one questions it. But to be realistically accurate, you cannot accept an approach that has an RNP value lower than what your plane actually can do. All right, we'll talk more about that when we get to the approach section. Let's go ahead and bring the controller back in here. Whoops. Swap that back in. All right, and then let's talk about the flight, the route that we're going to take. KBTV down to Syracuse. Did we lose our controller? Did the channel suddenly just go that silent, or did he sign off? All right, well, we'll look into that. Oh, there he is. Just interesting timing. All right, so Burlington International. Do we have a departure procedure, the Burlington one? Let's look at it. Well, we can go Burlington 1 to Syracuse. That'd be the easy one. Burlington 1 departure, radar vector Syracuse. However, that doesn't really meet the spirit of what they want us to do here. What they want us to do is fly a high altitude route.
November 4 Papa Alpha.
high altitude RNAV
from
route.
Will V,
So I think
turn
what
right,
we'll
heading
do
060. Maintain 3,500 until established on the localizer. Clear the ILS runway 8 approach.
Oh, we're looking at the world low chart, by the way. Here's the world high. Okay. So, yeah, I think what we'll do is Burlington 1, Burlington VOR,
Air Canada,
and then direct to
7283,
Nippy,
same Mach number.
and then the,
Canada 7283 Mach decimal 8.
was that the Q29 from Nippy down to
Air Canada
Kraz,
618, same Mach
and then the
number.
Q937 over here to Wago, and then Wago direct to Syracuse VOR, and then to the airport. So I think that's probably what we're going to do. So it's the Burlington 1 to BTV, and then Nippy, and then the Q29 to Kraz, and then the Q937 to Wago. And so that's what it's going to look like. Oh, and then Syracuse VOR. There we go. Now the route, the tutorial does say that your route does need to end at Syracuse. It says that in here somewhere. Talking about the approaches. Probably down here under Let's Go Flying. Okay. Spawn that at an appropriate location at BTV. File a high altitude route. Normal departure. Don't forget about the altitude requirements. We're going to be ready to cross 30 miles prior to Syracuse at 11,000, and we'll show you how to put that in the FMC. I think further up at the top it says something about...
I'll have more for you in a little bit. JetBlue 1387 leaving my airspace. The Cleveland Center is closed. Radio service terminated.
Okay, file a high altitude route from Burlington to Syracuse. Possibly making use of the airways. To meet test standards 1 and 4, ensure your route of flight ends at the Syracuse VOR. So that's why we've chosen the route that we've chosen. All right, so that'll go, and then we'll talk about the approach when we get a little closer up there. Let's just get underway. We've yammered on long enough. Let's go ahead and file our flight plan. Bring VPilot back over here. We're IFR, BTV to Syracuse. If we go missed at Syracuse and we can't land there, let's divert to Albany.
Delta 413 cross BZ out of maintain 8,000.
Our departure time is going to be 10 o'clock Eastern, which is 0200. Time en route we think is going to be about 035. Fuel available at this point is going to be 2 and 12. Since we're going to be at 200, we think we might get up to 450. And again, cruise altitude again. We can't file 180 because it's below standard pressure. So we'll file 200. Wings IFR 15. And what did we say?
Canada 617, thanks, have a good night.
Burlington 1 departure, Burlington, Nippy, Q29 Kraz, Q937 Wago, and then Syracuse. Oh, and we're
Lima. Climb and maintain
File flight plan, okay.
330, you're on it for you, but...
Alright, so flight plan is filed. Let's get back to the top of the page here. We did just check the METAR 140 at 7, so I think we're still talking about 15. 2984, I think, is real close to what we were messing with it. So we got to put it back to where it was. 2984 now, though. We'll set that in the standby as well. 2984. The ground elevation we said was about 350, and that is indeed what we are showing on the altimeter, so that's good. Comm frequency is tuned. We'll go ahead and obtain our clearance.
Alpha Roger, you want me to bring you back in for another event?
Yeah, that'd be great.
That's a 4 Papa Alpha, climb and maintain 4,100.
Alright. And, by the way, we already know that the initial altitude on this... See, we're at... we don't need that anymore.
Gold 1144, descend and maintain 2,300.
Burlington 1 departure, top altitude 10,000. So we can already fill that in. Expect filed altitude 10 minutes after departure, so we can already fill that in. We also already know that the departure frequency is going to be 134.7 because that's the center controller we're talking about now. So a bunch of this stuff in the craft, the clearance, clear to, route, altitude, frequency, and transponder. We filled in most of it already. So all we need to do is kind of just read it back after he says it.
Canada 7283, descend and maintain for level 370.
Oh, 370, okay.
Number 4 Papa Alpha, radar contact, turn right heading 170.
Alright, let's see if we can get a word in. Center citation 514 Delta Victor. We got the weather at Burlington, IFR to Syracuse for wings 15 IFR.
Station 514 Delta Victor, Boston Center, cleared to the Syracuse Airport via the Burlington 1 departure. Radar vectors Nippy, then as filed. Maintain 10,000. Departure on this frequency. Squawk 4740, wings IFR 15 approved.
Alright, cleared to Syracuse, Burlington 1 departure, radar vectors Nippy. Maintain 10,000, frequencies 134.7 and 4740, 5 Delta Victor.
Report Delta Victor, back is correct. Advise ready to taxi, runway 15. Break, Gold 1144, turn left heading 350.
Don't really need to read that back anyway. Let's get back to our checklists. Then we got our clearance. We can go ahead and get our flight plan in. If we put in KBTV in the origin, it should blank everything else out, and it does. So there we go. KSYR. There. Our departure is going to be the Burlington 1. Now, he said radar vector's Nippy. Nippy is not on the Burlington 1.
2 miles from Elsa,
so technically it's Burlington 1 to Burlington, and then direct Nippy, but we'll go ahead and put that in manually. We're departing 15. The wings over New England. They are finger-licking good, indeed. Good fixins is here. Alright, so flight plan. So it's Burlington 1 to Burlington, technically speaking, and then it's going to be radar vectors to Nippy.
Delta 4920 Boston Center, radar contact, turn right heading 150.
Q29 Kraz, Q to Niner. KR, A,
turn right heading 270.
ZZ. This is Kraz or might just be crazy. Crazy. That's not Kraz, that's crazy. Q937.
2983.
Or if he was a rapper, he would be crazy. Wago. Wago the dad jokes.
Speed restrictions to Boston altimeter 2983.
And then Syracuse VOR.
Via J Fund 4 right, delete all speeds 2983, information Bravo on board 476.
And then direct the airport. Which Syracuse do we mean? Do we mean the VOR that's at that's in the K6? That's the K. If it starts with a K, that means it's in the U.S. Do we mean the VOR that's in the U.S. or do we mean the NDB that is somewhere in Europe?
Right, direct Nelly.
North 37, East 24. Now I think we mean probably the one that we're nearest. So we'll just go ahead and pick that one.
Delta 2961 contact.
All right, we'll execute that. We'll look over the route in just a moment, but for right now we're going to go ahead and do our performance. Cruise altitude for this one is going to be 20,000 leagues above the sea.
3372.
And yep, the weights haven't changed really, except for the fuel that we've burnt off. So takeoff, we are at 25.
November 4 Papa Alpha.
And this is a little bit of a bug. They shouldn't be blue because the FMC should have reset since the first time. So they're already blue. When you're doing a 2 hops in the same session, they'll already be blue, but just go ahead and hit send. And then it'll be good to go.
America 305 descend via the Robux 3 arrival, runway 4.
IFR-14 was across the pond? Yeah, no. No. It does not take you 9 hours to do a wing flight. Alright. So we've got all the performance stuff done. The barrows are set. Field elevation was confirmed. We can set that squawk code that he gave us, which was what? It was 40, no. Yeah, 4740. It is the same. He just gave us the same squawk code we already had. So there we are. We are in plan mode already, but we'll zoom the map range out just a little bit, just so we can kind of step through. And yeah, we can kind of see that that plan is more or less what we put in there. If we want to step through it, we can. We go MFD advance and just keep hitting next. Next. Oh no. Yeah, hold on. Yeah, just keep hitting next until it gets to the end there. Okay. Alright, and then we'll set it to the 2 point, which is the one we're going to now. Which is fine. Okay, so everything in there looks good. Primary flight display is already in the correct mode that we want. I'm going to zoom the map range back in a little bit. Oops, this way. So we can just see where that point...
Actually, Delta 710 deviation right of course approved. When able, proceed direct Pro V and
see where that point nippy is, I guess, or we'll know kind of it's off in the direction where that line points, so that's good, that's close enough.
Delta 1010, when you're able, go direct to Goshi, G-O-S-H-I.
And then the initial altitude, 10,000, which is a lot nicer than that 2,000 that we were on top of almost immediately after that first departure. 10,000. And then the initial heading. Does the procedure specify one? It doesn't. It just says assigned heading. So we're going to assume radar vectors until we're going to assume runway heading until we're told something different. 145 is what we'll set it to for now.
Delta 413, contact New York approach 120.8.
And actually going to go ahead and turn the flight director off for now.
JetBlue 292, cross Daisy at a maintain 8,000. The Stewart.
Can I turn the flight director off? Can't turn the flight director off. Okay, that's fine. Heading, what did I say? 145. Alright, actually, yeah, we do need to,
Air Canada 618 with your Mach number, contact Burlington Center 132.2.
no dampers off.
132.2 Mach number,
autopilot.
Off.
And over on 132.2.
Okay, yeah, flight director's off. Okay, there we go.
Delta 981.
Now we've reset everything, and we're good to go.
Have a good day. Gold 1144, actually clear right back, brake number 4 Papa Alpha, turn right heading 060.
Alright, let's go ahead and get the safety lights and the seat belts on. You guys can make your way to your seats, please.
Gold 1144,
Supposed to be airborne 12 minutes from now. We got plenty of time for that.
And then you can
climate control will come off as we start up the number 1 engine. So we'll go ahead and hit the starter.
74 Papa Alpha.
Pop that into run.
From Will V, maintain 3,500 until established on the
we'll watch it spool up, make sure it does its thing. We don't have to do anything. It's going to automatically kick the igniter in at 12%. It does. Let's see, who do we owe raffle tickets while we're waiting on this? Red Warhawk 96 gets 6 more.
Delta 1010, well, I see you're descending there. I had you at 11,000. It looks like you may have descended to the altitude. So, Delta 1010, you can reduce speed to 250 now and then descend and maintain 9,000. Just make sure you don't go below that altitude, please.
Guy ought to get another one? All right.
Thank you very much. Our Canada 7283.
Guys, put those in, and I don't get to them right away. Don't worry. And the Twitch maintains a queue for me, so I usually get those caught up after the stream if I don't get it done during the stream. So don't worry. Exclamation point ticks will tell you how many you have in the current drawing. Again, we're going to draw that on Wednesday. All right, so the status panel came up, so all the warnings now have gone away, which is good. We'll go ahead and get the climate control back on so you guys are not roasting. And what else do we need to do? I get the checklist back in front of me, and I'll tell you.
Number 4, Papa Alpha, no radar traffic is 0 between you and Laconia Airport. Port IFR cancellation or missed approach on this frequency. Change to advisory frequency.
All right, we'll check the flight controls. Again, we'll hit the system button twice. And flight control indicators do not work on this little status panel, but we'll use our imagination and say that they do. And so we've checked everything, and we're good to go. So we'll hit that system page once again. We're going to adjust the trim so that it's in kind of the bottom of that green range. See that here? Put it right there in the bottom, and we'll actually move it up just a little bit extra. Whoops, not that much. Just a little bit extra because we were a little bit lighter than we were for the first flight. Then we'll go flaps 15. Confirm that they did go into 15.
Not sure why they're doing that. Might have just been a miss.
And we're good there.
You can call them now. Contact New York approach on 120.8.
And we'll go ahead and get our passenger briefing underway. Now, I think the last time I checked, on the second hop, you had to hit the select button twice. Yep, and that's still the case. Okay, a little bit of a bug there that they still haven't gotten to, but on the second and subsequent hops, you do have to hit that select button twice on those briefings.
Tango. Uniform direct autumn.
Jimmy Boy is using this flight as a mini tutorial. Jimmy Boy, best of luck with you, man. My number one advice when you do your first VATSIM flight is to use an app like VATSPY or something similar to it to pick any area on VATSIM where there is a controller but not like an overloaded amount of traffic. This is a very busy channel up here in Boston right now.
American 2141 radar contact,
so I would just make sure you're picking a region that's got air traffic control but not a crushing amount of traffic in order to make your first flight. Best of luck to you, man. Hope that it goes well. If it doesn't, though, don't let that put you off. Whatever you mess up, learn from it, come back, try it again. Every successive flight, just aim to make it 1 ounce better than the one you did before. All right. Oh, I'm in Ireland. Okay, very good. Well, the southern part of the UK is insanely busy a lot of times. But up on Ireland and, west of the UK, I'm thinking Scotland. In Ireland, you should be probably a little bit better. If you head over towards the UK, it's going to be insanely busy a number of times. But Shannon to Dublin sounds like probably a really good bet. And there is almost always ATC over there, says Owen. That's true, too.
Number 42, Delta Romeo, Boston Center, wings IFR-9 approved.
Yeah, sorry for being a dumb American there, getting Scotland and Ireland mixed up. But
climb and maintain 8,000.
Yeah, but avoid southern UK for your first handful of flights, I would say. All right, where are we? Okay, we're south of the terminal. Okay, good.
Number 2, Alpha Romeo, reback is correct. Hold for release. Advise when number 1 ready for departure. I do have an inbound about a 5-mile final for runway 8. Then I'll be able to release you as soon as they...
Most people get it mixed up. I pride myself on being a little bit more aware than the average American, but I certainly botched it that time, didn't I?
Boston Center, Delta 640, whiskey, flight level 360.
All right, so taxi routing, we're going northbound Alpha.
Delta 640, Boston Center, good evening.
I mean, we don't know this for sure, but we got to assume Alpha and Golf, right?
Charlie, Boston Center, good evening. Radar contact position as reported. Climb and maintain full of
probably Alpha and Golf. And the signs might not match that because of Microsoft Flight Sim 2020. But that's the route that we think we're taking. All right, so Pitot and Static can come on. Taxi light can come on, and we'll give him a shout, let him know we're ready. Center citation 514 Delta Victor, ready to taxi.
Citation 4 Delta Victor, runway 15, taxi via Alpha Golf.
All right, Alpha Golf to 155 Delta Victor.
American 210, contact Moncton Center, 13.
All right, so north we go. And I guess, well, I'm not sure what exactly Alpha is, but we're headed north. No, we're not. We're headed east.
For
Okay.
information on the
Oh, okay. I see.
as well as other emergency or survival equipment.
So,
Refer to your passenger
north on Alpha is when we get to
Thank you.
here. We'll make a left, and now we're going north on Alpha. There we go. There we go.
305, Roger. American 2141.
There we go. And we'll smack a few stray
Up to final P40, thank you, American.
edge lights. You know, these things kind of crop up like weeds,
Southwest 551.
and they really got to spray for them. But we'll knock a few of the extra ones out for them.
45,
Clunk.
vector ILS runway
Do
23
them a favor there.
Metro 1077 to 718, level 230.
All right, we do want to check the brakes.
Seabird 20 Charlie,
And
Palmer
brakes are
maintain,
good.
level 330.
Gonna go ahead and get the weather radar on, and we'll get the terrain radar on the secondary map here. Terrain. Oh, got a little bit of it up here, don't we? Do need to scoot the seat forward here.
Seabird
Yeah, so it's the signs say we're on Charlie,
20 cross Easy at
getting ready to turn on the Bravo. We're not. We're on Alpha, getting ready to turn on the Golf.
Cross Easy at 8.
We do have a plane that just landed. I don't know if that was a VATSIM player or just a random scenery plane moving around. Is there somebody else here? At BTV?
Delta 1010, heavy,
Nope, just me.
contact Boston Tower 128.8.
VATSIM says it's just me here, so I guess that was just a scenery enhancement.
Metro 1077 to send via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 4 right, accept the lead all speed restrictions, Boston altimeter 2981.
Departure frequency is preset because we're already talking to our departure controller. That's a VATSIMism. One guy handling everything. Land Dog swag, since this is my first time watching VATSIM, I'm mind blown with the ATC and the realism. Well, Land Dog, on Wednesday, you're going to watch me work a tower position somewhere. So you'll get to see it from the other side if you watch us Wednesday starting at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. But yeah, welcome, man. VATSIM is awesome. It is a huge learning curve. It's very intimidating, but come in, learn one piece at a time. Don't be afraid to mess up. Don't get frustrated if you get called out for messing something up that you had no idea you messed up. It's a learning process. You know, VATSIM pilots often don't have the hundreds of hours of ground school and training and one-on-one instruction that real pilots do, so there's a lot to learn that you kind of learn the hard way sometimes on VATSIM. It's all good. But yeah, it's a lot lot of fun, dude. A lot of fun. Lurking for now. That's all good, brother. All good. Appreciate you stopping by. But come back on Wednesday if you want to see... you know, I want to work a tower position somewhere on VATSIM down in the Washington area. Typically at DCA Reagan, or sometimes Dulles, sometimes Baltimore, sometimes Raleigh-Durham, Norfolk, Richmond.
Turn right heading 180, runway 15, clear for takeoff.
Clear for takeoff 15, heading 180, 54 Delta Victor.
United 495, descend via the Ocean 5
Alright,
arrival,
so
runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2981.
get our heading bug set to 180.
Tonight 81, Ocean 5 arrival, and 4 left, United 495. 4 right, United 495.
Yeah, we'll get the
170 knots,
landing lights and strobes on.
Boston Tower 128.8.
We'll skid around, we'll drift around to the end of 15 here.
Southwest 551, turn right heading 050.
Alright, let's go, guys.
November 8 Golf Victor, contact New York approach 120.8. Good night.
Just a double visual check, even though he cleared us. We do want to kind of just do a double visual check and make sure that we're not cutting somebody off.
Seabird Concord 90.
We'll engage toga mode. That's going to turn our flight director on.
Maintain level 240.
Good Fixin' says this is a great place to ask questions. Yeah, we're very newbie friendly here on Lamb Dog, so don't be afraid to ask.
At the moment,
Oops, overshot center line just a little bit. Let's come back to it.
Your discretionary to approach the shoreline, but we don't have any procedure for you.
Roger.
Alright, so we're lined up. Engines responding normally, symmetrically, no warnings. Temps and pressures all looking good. Into takeoff we go. We'll hold the yoke forward just a little bit. Airspeed is alive. There's 80 knots. There's V1. There's V2 and rotate.
551, descend to maintain 4,000.
We're going to pitch up, try and maintain 140.
Don't sink.
Gear come up. We're not.
Don't sink.
Maintain 140.
Don't sink.
Oh, it's because of the terrain.
Don't sink. Don't sink.
We get up to 1,000. Go ahead and get the flaps in. Start that right turn to 180. Autopilot. Heading. Flight level change. And get the speed set to 240. And we'll go from takeoff to climb. Alright, so it gave us some terrain warnings just because we knew we had some terrain near us. Other than that, I think everything went fine there. We're on our assigned heading of 180. And we're climbing to 10,000.
Center for to go from you.
I was just going to check in with him.
Number 2 Golf Romeo, release for departure. Clearance void if not airborne within 5 minutes. Departure on this frequency and port on this frequency when you're airborne. Change advisory frequency approved.
Over to 22.8, port to go for a minute.
Center 5 and 4 Delta Victor's 5,700 going to 10,000.
Climb and maintain full level 200. Code direct Nippy.
Alright, 200 Nippy, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, so Nippy we know is over that way. We'll figure it out exactly in just a minute. Let's just get pointed kind of in the right direction. And 200 now.
Southwest 551, turn right heading 060.
Alright, 200. Alright, let's get legs page. And let's just pop Nippy into the purple one and hit execute. And then we'll hit nav mode. There we are. All going according to plan so far, guys.
Touchdown aircraft, Boston airport information, Echo now, current Boston altimeter 2980.
Alright, through 10, we can get the landing and logo lights off.
Southwest 551, descend to
And
maintain
we can rebalance the fuel. I had the number 2 engine running on the ramp. So, what do we got? Yeah, we got about 90 pounds more in the left than the right, so we're going to go ahead and rebalance. Now, I always forget that this is on, and I'm going to probably pump all the fuel from my left tank to my right tank. I'm going to hold on to my cell phone. Maybe I should just stick a post-it note to my head or something. I got to do something to remind myself that I'm rebalancing fuel, and I got to continue to check on that. Now the right tank is still going to decrease. It's just going to decrease at a lower rate than the left tank. But we're just going to continue to kind of shoot fuel over into the right until those are balanced. It's not super duper critical, but just something I'd like to do since we're in the climb here. We got nothing else going on. Might as well just do that. I just got to remember not to forget and make the balance, end up making the balance worse in the opposite direction than it was when I started. That's what I usually do. Longtime viewers on the channel can attest to that.
Cross Goshi at 6,000, clear the ILS runway forward approach.
Okay, my call sign was stepped on, but cross goes she at 6,000, clear for the ILS runway 4 right, Metro 1070.
Probably, what would you say, guys? 50% of the time I attempt a rebalance. I screw it up.
November 4,500.
It might not even be 50%. I might be batting Hall of Fame numbers of
somebody there, I think it was
333 or thereabouts.
November 24 Golf Romeo is airborne at 4,900.
November 2 Golf Romeo radar contact.
Robert says, I have a sticky note on my monitor about fuel balance. Yeah, that's what I need to do. I'm not letting go. And somebody in a previous stream was like, yeah, that's because, getting distracted by your cell phone is never a bad idea, right? DC-3 fuel management flashbacks. Well, good fixins. I notoriously have done it in this plane, too. All right, through 180, let's go ahead and set standard. We'll just bump that once. 2992 automatically gets set. Over here, I think we've got to just manually twist it to 2992. Oh, nope, it automatically changed that to standard also. So there we go, that's all done. Now, coming up on our cruise.
Concord 9012, descend to maintain 16,000, Boston altimeter 298.
How are we doing on that balance, guys? Still got about 50 pounds more in the left than the right. So we're continuing to do that. All right. We've reached our cruise. We're going to leave it in climb until we get up to Mach 0.77 or 305, whatever the I forget where it changes to where 305 knots is the fastest you can go versus Mach 77. Oh, I guess it's 240 or something like that. So I guess 305 is fastest we'll be able to go. So we'll try and shoot for 300 knots here. I forget where that transition is, where the
American 305, turn right to being 170, vector ILS runway 4 right approach.
Heading 170, vector 4
where the never exceed speed changes from 305 knots to Mach 77, but it is in that the working title guide does have that figure in there, and I just don't remember off the top of my head what it was.
Discretion maintain for level 240.
Discretion for level 240, Delta 7.
But I guess we're at a low enough altitude that 305 is our limiting factor. So we'll shoot for about 300 knots here. There's no auto throttle. We're going to have to kind of just manually jockey the throttles here and just kind of let it settle in. How do you set the speed on the Citation? It's always confused me. Yep. In the climb or there's your answer. Exactly, Jimmy. In the climb or the descent, flight level change mode will do it, but it pitches to achieve that speed. It cannot set throttle. The throttle's all manual. So in a climb or a descent, you can set the speed, and it will pitch to maintain that speed. But level flight, there's no setting the speed. You set the throttle, and you kind of jockey it around and let it settle in. You can use this little trend vector thing. The little purple line that pops up and down will tell you whether you're accelerating or decelerating, and so that can kind of help you dial it in.
Southwest 551, wind 160 at 4, runway 23, clear to land.
I hope that makes sense. All right, how are we doing on the fuel balance?
Canadian 90.
Still got about 15 pounds extra in the left-hand side. I'm still holding on to my phone. By the way, while we're listening to the voice of the co-founder of Flight Sim Expo, I'll tell you, Flight Sim Expo, Town and Country Resort, San Diego, California, September 24th to 26th. On the show schedule that I'm about to publish for September, we're going to publish some live streaming from that event. It is 730 hours away, guys. I am so excited to head out to San Diego for this thing. 730 hours away. So just wanted to let you know that. But yeah, we'll be doing some live streaming from that event, and I'm going to publish that schedule here for you. It's not going to be that specific about what I'm live streaming from that event. It's going to be kind of vague. But at least it'll remind you of the days that I'll be out there. All right, so we got 803, 1 extra pound, 801. Yeah, all right, that's close enough. Turn off. How close do we get it? All right, right side switched over to 798 just a little bit early. That's close enough.
Seabird Concord 9012, expect dial.
I'm not going to tempt fate by trying to get it any closer than that.
4 right, 2980,
Seabird Concord 9012, fly present.
I've been forced into using the citation for VATSIM. Well, I'll tell you what, dude, it's not a bad plane to do. You get that? I'm assuming you got that working title mod, Jimmy boy. I'm assuming you're flying this mod, this working title mod of the CJ4, not the stock one, right? Please tell me. And remember, this plan mode over here is not a plane following mode. So, oh, you can't use any mods. Oh no, you're on Xbox.
And Boston Center, American 476, we are back on with the network.
American 476, radar
Well,
contact,
the good news is, Jimmy boy, is the working title team is now part of Asobo, and eventually they intend to incorporate all these improvements into the stock CJ4. So, oh, it's just your computer being a dumbass. Oh, well, sorry about that. But eventually, all these improvements will be incorporated into the stock CJ4. So there is hope for you on the horizon, at least. Alright, so I'm going to manually step this plan. This plan mode, this north up mode, is not intended to be a plane following mode. It's just intended to be a mode that you use to kind of just verify that your flight plan is correct. But I like to just use it as a way to keep track of progress. So I'm just going to manually step it forward, MFD advance, and we'll just hit, we'll hit next a couple times just to step it forward. Again, we have an advisory descent here. We don't have a firm descent because we don't have any firm crossing restrictions in our route.
30 miles northeast of Syracuse at and maintain 1000, Syracuse altimeter 2986.
Alright, 2986 and 30 miles northeast of Syracuse, 1000, 5 and 4 Delta Victor. Alright, here's where we're going to put in our firm altitude. 2986. First of all, we can dial that in. 2986. And we just won't bump it in yet, but we'll just preset it there. And this is how we do that. In the legs page, Syracuse slash minus 30. No. Not dot 30. Minus 30. And we want to put that in before. No, cancel mod. We want to put it in Syracuse slash minus 30. We want to put that in before Syracuse. Yep, so Wago, then the custom waypoint, and then, there we go, perfect.
Okay, American 476, present and maintain 3000.
Now, let's look at this. Now let's look at this. We'll zoom it in. And we'll see what it did. Oh, and we got to put the altitude in too. Duh. Do that. Let's do that real quick. That was the whole point of putting that in. We want to do that at 11,000. There we go. And now it's calculated our descent. All right, so we're direct to Craze Z, and let's go MFD advance. And next,
Metro 1077, maintain.
Well, because of the specific route that we filed, it looks a little weird, though. Actually, it looks like we do need to do that prior to Wago. So you know what we need to do? Probably just delete the point Wago. Let's just delete the point Wago. There we go. Because we're not going to go that far west, obviously. So now, that's where we're going to cross at 11,000. Well, you know what? And then I guess technically it was correct. We are going to Wago after. So I really should have just trusted it. No, I still didn't get it right. I still didn't get it right. Wago after the custom point, but before Syracuse. Now execute that, and then let's delete Wago, execute. No!
Canada question, American.
Syracuse 01, Wago. Yeah, okay, that's correct. Alright, I feel like it's correct in the FMC. Crazy, then Syracuse 01.
Go ahead, Boston Center.
Then Wago.
I was trying to
Then
get hold of you a couple
Syracuse.
times there. Traffic, 3 o'clock, 2 miles.
Forget it.
Westbound Concord restricted at 15,000. Just to make sure you climb into 14,000.
Let's just forget it.
14,000, 24.3. Speedbird Concord 9012, traffic 1 o'clock, 2 miles northeastbound, Airbus 12,500 climbing, but restricted 1,000 feet below. Turn left.
Crazy. And then Syracuse. Oh, by the way, he told us to cross it at 11,000. That means we can lower this to 11,000 because he did clear us to do that. So we can lower the target altitude to 11,000. We can engage VNAV, and the plane will start down on its own when it's time.
That'd be great.
The other thing to do whenever you're bored, match the heading with your current heading. Just bump the middle there, and that way, if you suddenly get a vector for weather or traffic, you don't. If you pop it into heading mode, you don't start turning to the wrong side. Oh, Jimmy says I'm going to start lurking. It's 3:11 here. Okay, fair enough. Good luck with the flight. Thank you very much, man. Appreciate you being here.
Speedbird Concord 9012, turn left heading 180. Left turn heading 180, please. Boston Center.
Oh, my bad. We were turning left, but now we have no flexibility. We're at 5 Concord 912.
Okay, no problem. Right turn heading 180 is fine.
So now we're in vertical altitude. It's going to capture the descent path when it's so the green is what's current mode, and white is the armed mode. We're currently maintaining the VNAV altitude. It's going to arm the vertical path when it's time. So that white mode always kind of tells you what's coming next. We did get to cruise. I think we can turn off the safety and belt, or the belt lights at least. Yeah, there's a little announcement because I turned the safety lights back on, which I didn't mean to turn them off, so you got that little announcement there.
Delta 771, descend via the J Fund 2 level, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2980.
And I guess the last thing to do is
American 476, reduce to final approach speed.
what approach do we want at Syracuse? Wind's calm, so we'll tell them we've got the weather. We'll tell them we got the weather, and then what's the rating say we need to do?
First, JetBlue 2070 on Boston Center.
I think the rating says
JetBlue 27 Boston Center, good evening, and JetBlue 254, you here?
JetBlue 254, we're with you out of 270 for 230.
JetBlue 254 Boston Center, radar contact, and American 2141, leaving my airspace, New York's closed, radar service terminated, we're good to change of route.
RNAV, RNP from ATC with an initial affix that includes the curved path. Okay, again, and our plane is probably not going to fly it perfectly, but we'll go ahead and do that.
Final maintain flight level 310, aircraft number 744. Metro 1077.
So RNAV, RNP, Yankee for 10, RNAV, RNP, Yankee for 28.
American 476 following an
Then the GPSs probably don't have the curved path. We got to do one of the RNAV, RNP. So since we're coming from the west, I think what we probably want to do is runway 10.
Right, 250, 6,000 through Concord 92.
Somebody had an IFR request. Who was that?
It's a VFR request for November 1 to here, Papa, southbound.
So we'll call it the RNAV Yankee to 10.
Center, clear to the Boston Airport via direct,
and we'll
climb and maintain
get it from
3,000.
fat up there.
Departure on this frequency, squawk 4726.
All right, it started us down. Let's go ahead and reduce to 50% throttle. Again, you don't typically do a full idle in the jet like this because you don't have enough weight to keep the speed up. Seatbelt signs back on. So 50% throttle, and then we'll adjust for 280. We'll let them know that we've got the weather, and we're looking for the RNP Yankee 10.
Number 172, Papa Boston Center, thanks for your patience. The Carrossel altimeter 2972, runway 23, taxi.
Once we get established on that, by the way, we'll start soliciting your predictions for the descent rate. We'll talk about that in just a moment. Let me just get a word in edgewise.
Metro 1077, turn right on, correction, turn left on Yankee. Join runway 33 right and cross runway 4 left.
Center, citation 5 and 4 Delta Victor.
Citation 4 Delta Victor, go ahead.
Citation 4 Delta Victor has left flight level 200 for the restriction. We're 17,300 now, descending. We have the weather at Syracuse requesting RNAV RNP Yankee for runway 10.
November 4 Delta Victor, roger, and have your request.
Okay.
United 495, turn right heading 020, and shut the localizer.
So he has our request, but he's not giving it to us just yet.
JetBlue 254, descend via the Roebuck 3 arrival, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2980.
Stand by the Roebuck 3, JetBlue 254.
Seabird Concord 9012, turn left.
I'm going to start punching it into the FMC under the guise that we're going to receive it. But,
Metro 1077, turn left on November, contact tower, cushion contact ground point.
Partial arrival.
Yes.
RNAV-33 VOR-15. RNAV, yeah, RNAV Yankee 10. That's the one we want. From FATA.
495, 2 miles from Nabble, cross Nabble at 3000, code ILS, runway 4 right approach.
We'll execute that. Go to the legs.
American 476, join runway 33 right, cross runway 4 left, and turn left at November.
We don't know exactly how we're going to get it from Syracuse 1 to Syracuse.
Delta 771, expect ILS, runway 4 right approach.
ILS 4 right, Delta 771.
But we'll just put it in there like that. We expect we're going to get a direct here.
Victor, runway 10 is closed. Expect the RNAV Yankee runway 10 approach, and then I don't know if you want to maybe break that off and just visually circle to runway 33, or do that to the missed approach and then come back around for a landing on runway 33 or 15, whatever works for you.
If we could do the RNAV Yankee to runway 10 from FATA, and then if we're allowed to circle north to land on 15, I think that's what we would prefer.
November 4 Delta Victor, I don't think I can approve of circling as such, but certainly you can, if you want to either cancel IFR or just do like a visual switch to runway 15 when you report the runway inside and clear for the visual approach, either one of those would work.
Okay, I'm just looking through the notes here. You are able to approve a circle to 33 though?
I'll get back to it. Break United 495, wind 090 at 11, runway 4 right, clear to land. November 0 Echo Romeo, runway 14, taxi.
I see what you're saying. So it doesn't have circling minimums. So.
American 476, contact ground point 9.
Yeah, I see it.
Thank you very much. Number 4 Delta Victor, expect direct, actually number 4 Delta Victor, cleared direct FATA. Expect RNAV Yankee runway 10 approach. When you get the airport in sight, I'll clear you for a visual approach to runway 15, and then you can make the switch over to runway 15 whenever you want.
Okay, yeah, I see that now. No circling minimums in the approach. Okay, that sounds like a plan. 5 for Delta Victor, direct FATA.
Seabird Concord 9012,
okay.
turn right at 310.
And we're cleared for the approach, so that means we're cleared for the lowest published altitude on the approach.
November 4 Delta Victor, cross
Just
Fata
1900.
5000, cleared RNAV Yankee runway 10 approach, report Syracuse Airport in sight.
All right, 5,000, yeah, Fata about 5,000, clear for the RNAV, RNP Yankee 10, and we'll report the airport in sight 54 Delta Victor. All right, and if we're cleared for the approach, that means we're cleared to the lowest published altitude on the approach, which is 1900.
A-firm, I have weather and NOTAMs for Saratoga, and I'm looking for the VOR DME approach. Portugal from you.
November 2 Bell from you, expect that.
We'll expect Portugal from you.
And just about to hit the next top of descent. And we're going to slow it down to 240 now. Yeah, this is kind of a complex one, and I'll explain what's going on. So this RNAV RNP is not designed as a fly this approach and then circle 2. But what he's going to do is we're going to kind of fudge it. We're going to fly this approach until I see the runway, and then he's going to clear me for a visual approach to runway 15. So that'll be enough to meet the test standards. We'll have flown the approach, and then we'll be able to land on 15. Because they are simulating the real-world NOTAM that runway 10 is closed at Syracuse right now. All right, so back on the descent.
Walker 872, flight level 24024. Level 240, Walker 872. November 0 Echo Romeo, flying runway heading, runway 14.
We'll adjust for 240 knots since we're about to go under 10,000.
We'll do it live.
That's right.
We'll do it live. Do it live. I'll write it and we'll do it live.
That's right.
Thing sucks.
Runway 4, right approach.
All right. Some stuff to do while we are on the descent. Let's go ahead and get the logo and landing lights on, and we'll get the passenger briefing done.
I apologize if I contact me unnecessarily. You are on the frequency then?
240 is what we're going to shoot for. Let's go ahead and get the passenger briefing landing.
I apologize. Welcome and thanks for calling.
Again, you have to hit it twice the second time for some silly reason.
We will be landing shortly. Please turn off all portable electronic devices.
Zoom in one.
That is 495, roger, how's it going?
Return your seat to the upright.
Seabird Concord 9012, wind 08011, runway 4, right?
The FMC legs were set. The mist on the RNP-10, 3000 to Stoda. Let's make sure that's in here. On the legs page, 3000 at Stoda is correct. We talked about we do need to do the performance. So let's go ahead and do the landing performance approach. What's the forecast wind there? I'm sorry, forecast temperature there, 25. Not 5. 25.
Contact, climb and maintain.
Next. Okay, 117 and 110. We'll send that to the primary flight display. There's no frequency in course as it's RNAV approach. Minimums are going to be, we'll take the higher ones of 881, so we're going to call it 890. So we'll spin this down to Barrow of 890. Still doing 240 knots. We're good. And once we get fat up, then we'll slow it to 210. Forecast winds were calm. Ceiling, we said, was pretty high, I think. 6,500 and 8,000. So we might run into some clouds on the descent, but once we get down close to the runway, we should see no visibility issues. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Missed approach altitude we said was 3,000. And if we're landing 15 at Syracuse, that's
Seabird Concord 9012, runway 4 right, clear to land.
let's say we're going to GA parking off of off of Golf here, general aviation off of Golf. All right, fat up at 5,000. It's hitting that pretty much dead on here. Perfect. All right, let's slow it down to 210. We'll go ahead and grab some spoiler. All right, 210. Do we have the runway? Well, we kind of have the runway in sight now, but I don't think he really meant us to call it in sight this early, but there it is. We'll fly a little bit more of the approach. How about that? You guys can start putting in some predictions. This will be your last chance to enter our August landing rate raffle. I know that camera was a little bit more disorienting, wasn't it? I don't know why it doesn't come in level. This will be your last chance to enter the August landing rate raffle. Put some predictions into the chat in terms of the predicted descent rate upon the wheels touching down. Positive or negative. We know that you mean a descent rate. No bot command is necessary. Just a number to the chat. The guys that are doing it are showing you exactly how it's to be done. All right, there. So it's caught. It's caught the V out capture.
Hold short of runway 33 right.
So it's now going to take us. It's leveling us off. It's going to take us down to 170. We'll go ahead and get gear and flaps 15. Add in some thrust to keep the speed at 170.
Mechanical 744. Speed your discretion.
Alright, we did knock it into approach mode just now. What are we doing, 185? No, okay, 165. Yeah, we can keep the speed up to 170 here. Remind ourselves of the speeds, V speeds, 117 and 110.
Delta 771 to set a maintain 3000.
Back to a 100 if we go missed. Right hand turn off if we do land successfully. Keep those predictions coming, guys. Again, it's the last chance to enter the August landing rate raffle. But we do it every month, so if you don't get in on this one, you can get in on the next one.
Runway 4 or right approach.
Getting set left 4 right for WT.
November 0 Echo Romeo, turn right heading 160, vector ILS runway 4 right approach, Boston altimeter 29080.
Vroom is a 5-mile final, so that's when we want to go ahead and chop it to
Walker 872, descend via the rope, descend via J Fund to arrival, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 29080.
Field elevation 400.
Arrival, runway 4 right, altimeter 290, Walker 872.
The center 5 and Fort Altimeter, we've got Albany in sight. Yeah, Syracuse in sight.
The Victor, clear visual approach, runway 15, change to runway 15, wind calm. Runway 15, clear to land.
All right, visual approach and clear to land, runway 15, 5 Port Altimeter. At Syracuse, not Albany.
There you go, thanks. Delta 771.
Autopilot.
Autopilot and yaw damper are off. And we are flying this thing for real now, guys.
Go 771, you never want to the approach. I'll turn your base as soon as I can. Descend and maintain 2000.
We want to get it down to about...
I should be able to have it turn like right over Joby. Is that going to be okay?
People says I love this aircraft. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, I'm also going to turn the flight directors off. If I can. Yeah, I can't seem to turn the flight directors off. Yeah, it keeps knocking the flight directors back on automatically. I don't want them on because I don't want the distracting guidance, but nothing I can do about it apparently. What I could have done earlier, since I knew I was going to do this, was to put like a 5-mile visual. I could really, if I could,
771, turn right heading 3.
I could get into the FMC right now.
Maintain 2000.
I just think that's going to be too distracting for me. I'm just, at this point, I'm more confident in my ability to fly it by eyeball. But I could get myself some guidance by putting in a visual to 1.5 in the FMC. We're still at 2,000 above ground level here. Do need to
February 254, maintain 210 knots or less.
get a descent going.
November 0, Echo Romeo, turn right heading 180.
Still very high.
Boston Center, American 350 is 14,000 for 17,000, direct Barrett.
American 350.
We'll see if we can salvage it. If not, we'll just ask for left closed traffic.
American 350.
But I think we can probably get it.
21.
Level 210, American 350.
Delta 771, turn right heading 020, intercept the localizer.
I think we can probably get it. I'm not committed yet. We can go around if we need to, but I think we've got this.
Delta 771, 4 miles from Mills, maintain 2000 until established on the localizer. Clear ILS, runway 4 right approach.
I think we're stable. Stable by the 500 call. That's where you want to be, right?
Caution at Delta 640.
Yeah, I got it.
Maintain level 240.
We're continuing, guys.
Down to 240, Delta 640.
I'm kind of surprised, actually.
W254, cross Goshi at 6000. Clear ILS, runway 4 right approach. Seabird 20 Charlie, contact Moncton Center 132.2. Have a good night.
No need to go around. That was beautiful, guys. It was beautiful.
Delta 771, wind 090 at 11, runway.
Little bit of a bounce. Little tiny bit of a bounce. We'll make the next right turn off here.
American 2130, Boston Center, traffic 4 mile final for the crossing runway, or runway 9er lineup and wait.
Yeah, I was pleased.
Number 4 Delta Victor, taxi to the ramp via Alpha. Good job on your wings IFR-15.
All right, ramp via Alpha. I think we're going to go to the GA ramp off of Golf. Are we okay to cross runway 10? It's closed, right?
Yeah, then you have to go all the way to the end. So taxi via Alpha, Victor, Hotel, and cross runway 10 at Hotel.
Okay, gotcha. Alpha, Victor, Hotel, cross 10 at Hotel, and then Hotel to the GA ramp. 54 Victor.
This airport's a lot of fun right now.
So it seems it.
I'm told that another controller is going to take center, and I don't know exactly what the timing is like, but I should be able to stay on it. So if you're looking to do another one tonight, I don't know how late you want to stay at, but apparently Justin's coming on.
Oh, no, we're done, but thank you very much for the offer.
All right, have a good night. Thanks for traffic.
See you, Evan.
Walker 872, expect ILS runway 4 right approach, Boston altimeter 2980.
Select Dallas for departure altimeter 290, Walker 872.
Warm and fuzzy from all the love. Is that what it is? All right, we'll show you the winning number here in just a moment. We're westbound Alpha all the way to the end, and then down to Victor and Hotel. We got some stuff to do on the taxi, and I guess we can go ahead and clean up now. Flaps and spoilers can be stowed. We get the strobe lights off and the taxi light on. That's the taxi light there, strobe light off, okay. No, Evan's good people, guys. And for those of you who missed it earlier, this is the co-founder of the Flight Sim Expo and Flight Sim Association. So if you saw my congratulatory 3-year anniversary messages, Evan was the one that was the co-founder of Flight Sim Expo. So that's who we're talking to tonight. Great guy. We get a chance to see him out in San Diego when we get out there for Flight Sim Expo. But yeah, really nice of him to offer to stick around and do one more with us. But we're good. We're going to wrap it up. What else do I need to do? Pitot and static can come off, and then we can get the terrain and weather radar off as well.
Delta 771 by runway heading, climb and maintain 3000.
Alright, so there's terrain and weather off there. Terrain and weather off there. I'll show you the taxi route since I got a minute.
Delta 771, turn left heading 330.
If I can get this over here. Alright, so apparently we turned off right onto Alpha. And so we're going all the way down to the end of Alpha to Victor and Hotel, and then I guess, well, Hotel 2 to the ramp here. Because this is the original runway we were approaching that he said was closed, so that's why we broke up here and came in on 15.
Good evening, citation 255 out of 10,000 for flight level 230.
Citation 255 Echo Tango, Boston Center, hello, climb and maintain level 260.
And climate control is normal, so.
Delta 771, climb and maintain.
Lamb Dog, climate control should be good. If you're feeling warm and fuzzy, it's because of all the love in the air, man.
American 2130, radar contact, climb and maintain 16,000, say altitude leaving.
And as we make the taxi in on Hotel,
254 wind at 090 at 11, runway 4 right, clear to land.
I think we should be able to.
Delta 771, unable to say the reason for the go around.
Go over those winning numbers here for you.
Is there anything I can pass on to the next guy? Number 0 back to Romeo, turn.
I love it when the pilots are reluctant to answer that question. Of course, we can't hear. We're on the ground, kind of far away from that pilot, so I guess we're not able to hear his response. But I love it when the pilots are hesitant to answer that question. Say the reason for the go around. I don't know. I'm a dumbass. Is that the reason? I think that's the reason. It's usually the reason for my go arounds, to be honest.
551 to set and maintain level 320.
Yell at me for a second just because I popped the throttle up just a little bit too high there for that. Lack of skill is my standard reply, Melvin says. Yeah, exactly. That's kind of the same thing I said. I don't know, because I'm a dumbass.
Delta 771, turn left heading 220.
Okay, so Hotel, so there's this little jink to the left. Yeah, I'll show you. It's this little jink to the left, and then it's the next right.
So at the moment, I've actually been planning to speak with you. Let me have a look to where you're going here.
Got another floating building up here.
Yeah, I would. I'm not sure if you're going to pass exactly through there or not, but feel free to give them a call on 120.8, and then we'll be able to answer that better than I will.
We'll bring it over to the hangar. And we'll park right in front of the door. Because that's what VIP service is. Me fly good, says Good Fixins. 90% of the time, that is the correct answer, yes. At least on this stream. And maybe on a few others that we like to frequent. I won't mention any names. Some more than others.
Thank you very much.
Which one's the taxi light?
50 to send via the robust arrival, runway 4 right, Boston altimeter 2979er.
Alright, send you the robust arrival, runway 4 right, American 250.
Alright, oops. There we go. Alright, parking brake on, taxi light off. Yeah, let's go ahead and show you that winning number, guys. You guys can start working out who the winner was. The entrance, our last entrant into the August landing rate raffle is going to be the one who guessed the closest to 92. 92. We'll come back and figure out who that was here in just a moment. I'm going to run through the shutdown sequence of the plane, get it all the way shut down, and then we'll get that stuff all figured out here. So bear with me 1 second while I get that done.
Walker 873 Roger, descend and maintain 6,000.
Parking brake. Let's go ahead and get the both of the engines into stop. All right, there we go. Nav source, yeah, don't have to do anything with that. We can reset the reference. Refs menu and the, which is not that. Refs menu, and we can reset.
Have a great night. Thanks for the Thanks, Variant. Take care.
Oops. Nope, not trying to change V1. I'm trying to scroll down to Barrow and turn that off. There we go. Refs menu. Okay, there we go. Got it. Alright, avionics. Go back into dispatch mode.
30 Golf to Boston Center, climb and maintain.
It's dispatch mode there. We are going to turn the climate control off, guys, while you guys are, well, we can turn the seatbelts and safety lights off, and we're going to turn the climate control off. You guys can start making your way out, folks. Beacon light can come off as well. What else? The squawk can be set back to 1200 and TARA turned off. 1200. Back to standby mode. And fuel and ETA checked. We expected to be down here. And again, I'm going to do with a grain of salt because we were not high enough to be at our normal cruise speed. So the ETA is probably going to be off, and probably the fuel estimate as well. But we said 10:35 on the ground, 10:40 on the blocks, and we're only 7 minutes past that, and I think we got airborne maybe a couple minutes early, so it did take us slightly longer than expected. My sheet predicted 1,449 left in the tanks, and I bet you we're going to be a little short on that. 1,450 more or less. I say we're going to be closer to 1,300. Let's see what we got. Closer to 1,100, actually. Okay, well, that's, again, because we were at flight level 200 rather than up at the more efficient altitudes that this thing likes to fly at. So not going to adjust my numbers, but if you would like to see how I come up with those calculations, there's a tutorial down there on the bottom left hand side of your screen on the YouTube channel, playlists, VATSIM tutorials playlist that talks about flight time and fuel estimates. All right, let's figure out who the big winner was to get their entry into our raffle. We're going to draw on Wednesday. 187, 85 from Peoples, the early front runner, 87 from Maverick. So that's going to be looking really good. Yeah, that's going to be it. Maverick 751. Maverick is our big winner, being 5 away with his 87, our actual 92. Maverick without the K.
Sorry, I was paying attention.
Maverick 751. If anybody thinks that I've missed that, or if I'm missing somebody, Maverick 751. Speak now or forever hold your peace. But as we landed at KSYR on 8:21, what is today? 8:23. 8:23. Maverick 751 was the most accurate predictor of our vertical descent rate upon the wheels touching down, so Maverick gets his guess into the raffle that's being drawn Wednesday. Al South MIA was our big winner at Burlington, so these two go into the fishbowl, and we will pull that winner on Wednesday, guys. And we'll probably pull those fairly early, the traffic permitting, since there's no more entrance into the August raffle. So, very, very cool. So, jump into the stream on Wednesday, Maverick. If you're not here and you happen to be the winner, don't worry. I'm going to contact you via Twitch Whisper. And if you are the winner, the prizes that you had to choose from are on this page here. And again, we'll send you this list if you are the one that does have your ticket selected, but you can choose any one of these Slant Alpha merchandise items, the black t-shirt, or the black with white, or the white with black trim t-shirt, or the solid white t-shirt. We got the cap, we got the mouse pad, we got the very coveted traditional coffee mug. We also now have the tapered coffee mugs that you can choose from, and our Slant Alpha tote bag, which is hanging up on the curtain rod over there. If you don't want any of my stuff, that's fine. You can also choose instead a $25 Amazon gift card or a $25 xplane.org store gift card. Each of the winners that we pull on Wednesday will get their choice of any one item on this list. So, very, very cool, guys. Excellent. Excellent, excellent. Raffle number 1, by the way, is also going to be pulled on Wednesday. We're going to pull that one kind of towards the end of Wednesday's stream. That's the one that you enter with those Twitch Alphabets points, those channel points that you're accumulating there at the bottom of the screen.
At 1202, climate maintain 4,000.
Go ahead and finish shutting the plane down just so there's not that distracting voice in our ears.
American 2130.
But nav and logo lights can come off. And the avionics. Hang on, where is it? Oh yeah, avionics switch. And then shut off the standby, and then shut off the emergency lights, and then shut off the battery. And we'll hop out and we'll see our beautiful plane right there at sundown. Come on, come on. Rotate that camera. There we are. One last barrel roll for Wiggle Spank. There we go. Alright, there we go. Let's find a good angle. Can we find a good... I'm going to find a good angle here, guys. There we go. I'm liking that one. I'm sorry, I'm getting really picky about the closing shot. There we go, there's a good one. There's a good closing shot. What do you guys think? Love it. Alright, there we are. Alright, so the two raffles that we're pulling on Wednesday. Raffle number 2 is that landing rate raffle. Again, Al South MIA and Maverick 751 are two entrants from tonight's stream to go into that fishbowl. All of the closest predictors of our touchdowns since the last raffle was pulled are eligible for that raffle number 2 drawing. Probably make that one earlier on. Like I said, all the landings are done. We're going to do an air traffic control stream for you on Wednesday, so there's no more landings going to be taking place on the stream. But the raffle number 1, you'll still be able to accumulate points for. Again, the Twitch Alphabets points, the channel points there at the bottom of the chat panel. As you rack up 1,000 of those, go ahead and feel free to cash that 1,000 point total in for one entrant into our first raffle. If you hit the magic number of 5,000, you can cash those in for 6 entries into that raffle. Again, we're going to pull both of those on Wednesday. Winner to receive their choice of any one of those Slant Alpha merchandise items or a $25 Amazon or xplane.org store gift card. So do join us Wednesday. If you do happen to win and you're not there on Wednesday, that's fine, though. We'll reach out to you via Twitch Whisper, or if you're on our Discord server, I happen to know you're on our Discord server, I'll just hit you that way. All right, guys. Well, thanks for flying along. It was the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England flights 14 and 15 tonight. Again, it's a series of 6 VFR and 24 IFR training flights that the Boston Virtual ARTCC on VATSIM publishes, and they offer all of the reading material that you need in order to learn what you need to learn to perform the flights. And then when you perform them, the controllers evaluate your performance, not based on what they're seeing in the cockpit, because they're not watching you fly the plane by switch and knob and dial and control input, but they're watching what happens on their scope. So all you have to do is be in the right spot for the execution of the procedure. Be in the right place, going the right speed, right direction, at right altitude for the execution of whatever procedure is part of the lesson. And if you pass it, they'll let you know, like you heard them do for me as I taxied in. And so 14 and 15 are in the books, and we're going to resume with number 16 and 17 next time we do this. Again, typically on this channel, for those of you who are new, typically on this channel, we fly using old school radio-based navigation. VOR airway navigation for the most part, but also these old school NDB approaches and NDB airways sometimes even, and all that old radio tracking stuff, the bearings and radial deviations and that sort of thing. So that's typically what you see here. Just happened to break the mold here for 2 streams in a row, just by sheer chance. But these training flights with Boston Virtual ARTCC, the next couple, focus on RNAV procedures. So again, while they do have alternate procedures you can follow for radio-based navigation, which would be very interesting for me to try, my goal is to perform these the way that most pilots would perform these in order for you guys to have a reference to look at and see, okay, that's how that's supposed to be done. That's what I'm going to do. So there you go. You got a nice, nice example. We'll upload all these to our YouTube channel. We got a separate special playlist for the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England flights. You can watch them all in succession and have that reference there if you are interested in trying them and kind of want to see what they look like from someone else's standpoint. Nice to watch the clouds move and change in the background, says Red Warhawk. I agree. I think that there's so much that is still kind of a work in progress with this sim, and I wish the weather was a little bit more up to date with the current METARs. It tends to lag behind sometimes, although tonight it seemed to be pretty accurate. But as far as the realistic feel and look of the weather, man, it's completely spot on. I love it. Love it. All right, anyway, guys, thanks again for stopping in. Again, if you want to know what's coming up in the short term on the channel, you can follow us on Twitter or Facebook. We're Slant Alpha on both of those. If you want to know the full show schedule, it's published underneath the About tab. It's also over on our Discord server, and it's also on our Facebook page. That Discord server link's on the lower right-hand side of your screen, and you can jump in and join the chat 24/7. I think I did okay keeping up with chat messages tonight, since a lot of the plane was being flown for me by our friend Autopilot. But if there was something that you had questions about that you didn't get a chance to get up to me into the chat tonight, or if you posted a message that I didn't happen to see and respond to, certainly wasn't personal, but go ahead and jump in over on that Discord and ask away. Be happy to explain anything that you saw or heard tonight if I missed you earlier in the chat. So go ahead and jump in on that. There you go. There's the Discord link. And then we talked about the YouTube archive. In addition to the Boston Virtual ARTCC Wings Over New England playlist, we've got some VATSIM tutorials if you want to know what to say to air traffic control, or how to put together an RNAV or non-RNAV route, or a VFR route plan. There's all kinds of good tutorials. The flight time and fuel estimate tutorials over there, like I mentioned a couple times. There's an explanation of the slant codes, so if you don't know what slant alpha means or slant golf or any of that stuff, you can check out that tutorial that explains that. And a couple of other good ones over there. VFR sectional reading is over there. So check out all those tutorials on the YouTube channel. Link on the lower left-hand side of your screen. Link called playlist called VATSIM Tutorials. Next couple ones coming up, like I said, we're doing some air traffic control on Wednesday. We're going to pull our raffle winners for the month of August. If you don't happen to get in on the August raffles, don't worry, we'll do them all over again in September. But we'll be working a tower somewhere in the Washington ARTCC area on Wednesday. We'll show you what this looks like from the tower controller side of the scope. And we'll pull those raffle winners there on Wednesday. Then on Friday, what are we doing on Friday the 27th? We're going to be back into that DC-6, that PMDG DC-6. We're going to figure out where the Friday night ops are. We're going to do a two-hopper from Dallas, excuse me, Dallas, Fort Worth to Tulsa, Oklahoma, and then we're going to end the night in St. Louis. Possibly end up talking to our friend Ground Point Niner up in St. Louis, but we'll see. But Dallas, Fort Worth to Tulsa to St. Louis for the Friday night ops in that DC-6. By PMDG for Flights in 2020 on Friday. So really two really fun streams coming up for you with the ATC on Wednesday and the DC-6 on Friday. So join us for that. All right, guys. that's going to wrap it up for me as the sun dips over the horizon here. Perfect timing on that. Hope that you enjoyed tonight, and will stop back and see us. In the meantime, I do ask that you stay tuned. We're going to find one of our favorite flight sim streamers to kick the stream over to. Gosh, we've got one that's been streaming for 5.5 hours. He's on the ground. I hesitate to think how much longer he's going to be on. Well, I'll tell you what. One of our other favorite flight sim streamers has been streaming for over 3 hours, but is still in the air at this point, so at least that tells you that she is going to be doing still a little bit of flying yet, at least. So we will kick the stream over to our friend Starflies, and she is doing some general aviation flying. I can't quite tell what the aircraft type is, but it does appear to be Microsoft Flight Sim 2020, I believe. And it, according to the stream title, somewhere up in British Columbia. She's certainly flying someplace very, very beautiful with some mountains and some rivers, and something very old school in general aviation. So very much in line with what we'd like to talk about on this stream. So stay tuned and check her out. Is the Husky, says Good Fixins, possibly? Yeah, it might be. I don't know it that well to identify it visually, but you very well might be right. But anyway, we'll kick you over to her. Just stay tuned and tell her that Slant Alpha says hello, and I'll stop in and talk to her for a little bit here as well. But I'm sure that you will enjoy that if you enjoy any of the stuff that I do. She's not quite as family friendly as I am all the time. I'm going to give you that fair warning. But she's very, very funny and very, very entertaining. So do show her some love when you get over there from the Slant Alpha family. All right, guys. Well, thanks again. Hope to talk to you on Wednesday from the Tower Cab somewhere in the Washington ARTCC. In the meantime, have a great rest of the start of your week, and be healthy and safe in your own travels and your own adventures in the meantime. Take care, guys. Talk to you soon.